Hello. I'm trying out this live thing, so if anyone wants to get on and share your experiences, your possible solutions, I'm open to hear about it. I think I can post the link somewhere. I'm not sure. This is my first time doing this, so I think. Okay, so I posted the link if anyone wants to come on and we can talk about some things. It feels weird talking to myself. I mean, I usually do it, but I'm never actually live doing it, so it's kind of nerve-wracking, I guess. That's how I felt when I first started my YouTube channel. You just gotta put yourself out there. Wow, we got some people in here. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about? You have no solutions? Well, that's okay. Well, thanks for being here. I must say, you do have excellent comments, though. So I think you do have some solutions or ideas. Definitely have very many great experiences to share. I wouldn't say they're great experiences, but a lot of wisdom in what you say, Magic Zebra. Okay, yeah. Looking forward to it if you want to join. Well, I guess I have to entertain you guys, huh? Well, yeah, so this is a new experience for me, going live, and um, would love if someone would want to come on and talk with me, hear what you have to say. I'm just going to leave it open for a little bit. What's your question? Well, that's a very concerning question. I don't want to say that we're trapped forever, but do I know that for certain? I don't know. I don't think so. Shingal Thunder, man, you leave some great comments as well. I'm sure we'd all love to hear what you have to say if you want to join. Well, if we're trapped forever, I don't see why they would try so hard to deceive us for so long. I mean, if we're trapped and there's nothing we can do about it, what's with all the deception? Why do they try so hard, day in and day out, never stopping? And even when you know, they still try to deceive you back into thinking that you are trapped forever. So there's something. Oh, wait a second. Got someone joining.
Oh, what's
Hey,
up, man? How you doing?
hey, Jared.
What's up?
I'm
I'm just
usually
chilling,
watching
just
your
rolling
live
cigarette.
streams.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to see. I think I heard you mention on one of your videos you were going to start doing this, like in the past few days. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's a little nerve wracking. Like I was saying, when I first started this YouTube channel, it was very nerve wracking. You know, speaking isn't my best characteristic. I've had a lot of
Okay.
trouble, like growing up, like being able to speak and things like that. So definitely have come a long way.
Yeah, yeah. It just takes exposure. Like, I guess just keep doing it. I mean, I started my channel like what 2 or 3 years ago, and I I was not comfortable doing live streams for like a few months, and then it just was normal. Now I do it like maybe once a week, twice a week, and it seems there's always at least 5 people, which is cool, man. 5 people, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when you would go live and it would just bring me so much, I don't know, like comfort because you would be talking about things that I understood, and the vast majority of people have no idea because you feel so alone. And it's kind of like
Yeah,
you were right there, but not really.
dude, you know that what's his name, Robert Monroe? There's this I heard this thing on the Eric Dubay channel like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. He was talking about the Loosh planet, Loosh like garden idea from Robert Monroe. He basically said that I guess Robert Monroe's idea from the entity he was talking to in an out of body experience. He basically said that loneliness is the most pure form of loosh, and I'm like, go figure. It's like, dude, that's terrible.
Yeah, and it seems that we all experience that, especially once you wake up to all this. You feel very alone, and then maybe that's why they like torturing us with that because they know no one's going to believe you, and you're left all alone, and they get to suck all that out of you.
Yeah, this place keeps us apart from real people. I was talking to Amber Lee about that the other day. She said she's never met in person another real being. Although I do think, and the opinion is divided. Some people were telling me that like in the Gnostic scripture, the syzygies, the divine male feminine pair that come down. I guess we're supposed to be aeons, whatever. But some people were saying that you're kept one of you is here and one of you is outside of the matrix, so you can never find your counterpart. But I'm not gonna believe that because that I just can't have like no hope at all. So I don't know. I think we can meet people if they're at our level, then it would be cool, you know.
Yeah. Interesting thing. My mom actually is awake to all of this because over the years I've like told her things, and at first she was like, "No, I can't. I don't believe that." And then just a little bit more, she'd take it in. So now I wouldn't say she's like at the level that I'm at, but she's pretty damn close. So that's very hopeful for any of you out there that have people in your life that aren't getting it yet. Maybe they will.
Yeah. I mean, there's levels to it. Not everyone's gonna agree on everything, and I wouldn't. I don't just agree with everything I hear either. I mean, that's not like rational, you know. But this place, though, it does to me. It seems to be some kind of light-based matrix. I talked about the flux light thing recently, and like, I don't know these things are real. I just come across ideas and models, and I put them forward to the channel, to the internet, so people can decide for themselves because I don't know. It seems like we should be able to bend the construct around us. I mean, I've done a little bit of this here and there, but not nearly to the level I'd want to. And yeah, of course, I want to get out of here, but it'd be cool while I'm here to be able to just instantly create stuff, materialize objects, whatever. It should be possible theoretically.
Yeah. So you were one of the first channels that I came across before I started my YouTube channel that really inspired me. And I'm wondering, like, what led you up to where you are now? Like, how did you get to this level of information that you share on your channel?
Yeah, let's see. Well, I think a lot of it was actually the Neville Goddard stuff, studying his so-called law of assumption is what he called it, and manifestation. But we're just realizing over like the past 15 years or so of studying how to manifest with consciousness that I think there's what 12 laws. Like I don't remember them all, but law of balance, law of gender, law of polarity, all these things. They're supposed to be like hermetic principles or laws. I might have them confused, but I was researching these for like 15, 16 years, and I don't think that they're necessarily laws, kind of more like a rule of thumb or something. And also, uh, people say that they work, but I don't think people know exactly how it works. I'm not claiming I know exactly how it works. I just keep experimenting. But I have found a way to kind of materialize some things, but it's not like money, a new job, a new car. It's not matrix stuff to make my life, my quality of experience better, but it's little things. But it is evidence of consciousness influencing the realm around us. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I just kept experimenting basically for a long time and not being happy with this place because it feels like a prison.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem that we have some sort of conscious control over just little details of our lives. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
nothing big ever happens. Nothing big ever changes. I mean, our life may change for the better, so to say, a little bit, but everything outside of ourselves and the world at large just gets worse and worse and worse.
yeah. It seems to be a matrix script. And there's truth to this idea of the history repeating. Of course, I don't know how far back the history goes. I mean, have you seen this evidence of like the melted red brick buildings all
Oh yeah,
across the
yeah,
land? They're
yeah. I have a
everywhere,
video
dude.
on my channel about that.
That's crazy. I saw that like 4 years ago. I was this channel called When the Buildings Cried before it got kicked off YouTube. But and it blew my mind. That guy claimed that this is some kind of hologram projection, and we forgot who we are while we're in it. You got your mind erased, and you keep coming back, but there's an outside world somewhere to get to when you wake up. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I would think if this was a holographic projection and I was going into it for like some kind of vacation experience and I lost my memory, well, if you wake up, then but how do you wake up? You know what I mean? Like, I want my memory back. I don't understand why I don't have memory. It doesn't. I don't get it. Like, that's where I get lost there because that ruins all the ideas of like school and all this kind of stuff. No memory is a giveaway, man.
Yeah, yeah. It. I thought about this. So these melted buildings and this ancient civilization that seemed to be so far more advanced than us. I've thought about what if that's how we got trapped in here? Like it was some kind of paradise and we came here because it was that way, but that was the trick that got us here. And slowly over time it's got diluted more and more and more into this is where we are now.
Yeah, that's interesting because I kind of was thinking about a month ago that maybe in the distant past, this place was more like Pandora, like the planet on the Avatar movie with like mother trees and whatever interconnectivity and stuff. And then whatever invaded this place or activated their plan when they got us to agree to come in here or something, the parasite, the mind virus, whatever, uh it cut down all the mother trees, I guess, and then the oxygen and like the gas environment changed, so everything got smaller. I don't know. It's just like, where's all the magic? I mean, magic's real. Like it is real, but I mean, telekinesis should be easy, dude. It should be more like a lucid dream world here, in my opinion. Just free to create. Like, I don't accept limitations, man. I never have. It's wrong.
Yeah, yeah. It seems that we have a little bit of that power still within us to affect certain things, but it's been diluted by our prison vessel. But some of it can come out sometimes because you have certain people who are more let's say, in tune with the psychic phenomena. Like my grandfather was definitely that, yet he was obviously deceived in the nature of this reality. But he always taught me about like psychic awareness and how to manipulate things using psychic intentions and whatnot. And he always talked about this other realm that was here with us, where even the trees themselves were magical and glowing, and the colors were far greater than what we can experience here. So it's just it for him to say all that, but yet be deceived about this realm, makes me think, like, does he have some kind of past memories that are bleeding over into this lifetime? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but sounds like he had aeonic sight or whatever, spiritual sight. I mean, you know, you can work on it to develop it, but some people are gifted. I've been working on it for like 7 years, and it's just still not as great as I'd like, you know. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of this place. I just want out of here, but I'm gonna try to enjoy myself for the rest of the time I have while I'm here. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know what else to do.
So, do you have any solutions on how to get out of here, or any ideas that's been going through your mind?
The only one I was really working on is to say I keep coming back to this idea of uh, raising the consciousness beyond like the boundaries of the matrix. And so the model I was using, I might have mentioned it recently, was it's just a model, so the details might be wrong. But if we are true light beings, we give off a true light is the model, and then we're imprisoned in a false light matrix, electromagnetism. All of the spectrum is false light in this model, and if you elevate your true light rate or frequency and bring more true light into yourself and increase your frequency, theoretically you could go beyond, I guess, E equals MC squared, which would be the speed of light, which would be like the processing top processing speed of the simulation we're in, or the holographic realm, so that you could get free or bend the construct, full blown kinetic abilities. I don't know exactly what this looks like. It's a model, but something like this. But then you don't even have, if you could do it, you wouldn't have to spend your time with kinetic abilities. You should be able to shift out of here and just wake up, or like make your body move into a higher place or less dense realm or something where you could just not come back here. But that sounds sci-fi. I know how far out it sounds, but that's my answer. Like,
Yeah.
it's, I know, whatever.
Yeah, it seems you gotta sit with that and really think on what you just said, because it's a lot.
I don't know if it would work though, but I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. Solutions are hard to come by because we're inside the matrix. We don't, I mean, some people do claim to have between life and before life memories. I don't have that, not to my awareness. I don't have past life memories. I don't know. I think this is my first time here, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've been here a bunch of times and the mind wipe was so successful that I don't have any memory. That's screwed up, dude. But yeah, solution though, hard to come by when you're in the matrix. How to get out.
That's interesting that you brought that up. People talk about having multiple lives, maybe hundreds, thousands, but this could be our first life, because we're so
Right.
aware of everything. We haven't. I mean, yeah, when we first came in here, we were deceived, right? But it didn't take us long to get out of that.
Right.
Because for me, I
Some
started waking
longer,
up like
some
when I was
less.
a teenager.
Right, right. Good, man. It's awesome. Took me until I was about 19, 18 or 19, the end of my teenage years. And then for the first like 5 years, I was just living in complete fear. Before I had a meditation practice every day. It was all about like reptilians and grays and the government, like New World Order, martial law.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
remember
oh
those
my
days.
God, oh no, it's terrible. And then,
Yeah.
finally started meditating and calmed down for a bit. But I don't know, man. But here's the thing I always come back to. It's like, I would think, I mean, or how should I say it? Like the giveaway to this place being not really like a true, I don't know, real or a straightforward or right side up realm. The giveaway is like, it seems to keep getting worse and more chaotic, faster and faster, more inverted, faster and faster. But any real world, there would be a limit, right? And there's no limit. It just keeps getting crazier. But then I look outside my window and like the birds are chirping and gentle rain, whatever. So I don't know, man. It just it could all be green screen on the media. A lot of the internet, what's real anymore here?
Yeah, if you just turn off the TV, it seems like those things don't really affect you until they do. But you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And all those people are actors anyways. I mean, all
Yeah.
politicians, every news media, any presentation you hear on the news has been screened by other people to put out to you.
Yeah, I've tried to tell people over the past like 5 years that all these like news anchors and politicians and whatever royalty and actors, probably even a lot of the musicians, they're like, I'm not totally convinced on this. I know they're celebrities and stuff. They're like they are actors. There is truth to the actor based reality, but do they play multiple roles and change with like prosthetic ears and prosthetic noses and whatever contacts to change the eye color and fake hair and stuff. Do they go that far? It's possible some do. I've seen evidence for it, but
Yeah, there's some
it's,
compelling evidence for all of that, especially with the
yeah,
Joe Biden character. I mean, come on.
yeah. Well, that guy wasn't the same. I mean, he looked different, but I don't know, man. This place is weird though. I'd rather be somewhere better, but I don't know where that is. Like I don't remember. But I talk about I've experienced other versions of myself when this body was sleeping a couple dozen times. But and when I was shifted into those, I would like wake up, start doing my day there. I would know that this body was asleep while I was in that body, and I had a memory of my world there up to that point, and it was more vivid than here. The colors were more vivid. There was more reality. Abilities existed more or less to greater levels, and it's just like, how is this? What is this? Is that the reality? And this is the like we got stuck in a dream, and then we keep getting put back in the same dream every day. I don't know, like what's going on. It's weird here.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way sometimes, especially in some dreams that I have. They're just so much more real than this life. This life is like dulled down to such a low vibration, and then you get
Yeah,
into these other realms, and they're just so vibrant.
they definitely can be really vibrant.
But that doesn't mean it's real either, though, because that could just be another deception.
Right. Well, I mean, your brain, you're still connected to your brain here while the body's asleep, right? So maybe it's not real, and this isn't real either. I don't know. I mean, it depends on, I guess, your definition of real. I always say tangible, but maybe that's not a good definition.
Yeah. Well, last night actually, I had a dream. Okay, this is weird. So I had a dream, and this girl that I was talking to in the dream, I realized in the dream that she was dead in this life, and it woke me up, and I had a lucid dream kind of. But then I woke up from that dream into another dream, and I thought that was the real life. And then I woke up
Yeah,
again in this life. I was like, "What the hell?"
false awakenings. That stuff's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of concerns me. I've talked about in a different video that I'm so in this life. I'm so aware of the deceptions, but in these dream states, I seem to just go along with everything sometimes. And even when I become lucid, I still don't remember the deception part.
Right. I think well, I'll mention it. I've said my dreams have been manipulated for years. They're not as much now as they were before, but it still happens. But it's weird to say this, but I almost think, or I do kind of get the impression that, you know, how you mentioned, like you just kind of go along with stuff when you're at that more unconscious level in the dreams or whatever. I
Yeah.
think, I think that I don't know if it's technology or some kind of psychic hypnosis from some intelligence, whatever archon, whatever you want to say, some label, something either in trance, putting us in trance, or a technology doing it. But it kind of can't even take over like what you do in the dream, because sometimes I'll do things that I would never do that aren't even who I am or like my personality or anything, and then I'll wake myself up and I'm like, dude, that's what is this is horseshit. Like, I don't know, it's weird, man.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. That I talked about that in the video. How that reminds me of Dark City. How when we go to sleep,
Yeah,
they put us in these different roles, and just to see what we do. And I do things in the dreams that I would never do in this life, and it just disgusts me that I would go along with that.
yeah. It's not us though. We wouldn't go along with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you know yourself well enough and you've been doing this for a while, and then you get these dreams, and they're not all like this, but the ones that are, you do these things happen because you're like less conscious. Something's kind of like hacking your subconscious mind more or less, and then you're doing these things. You wake up and you're like, that isn't me. So, and it's I don't know if that, I'm not going to say possession because that's not what it feels like. It's some kind of technological manipulation of the unconscious mind, and then it's violation, dude. That's what my dreams have felt like. I've been getting violated mentally, emotionally, psychically, for years now against my will. And it's like, so you're telling me I'm in a realm with no memory how I got here. It's already like a slave prison. I'm bound to this stupid body that I don't like. And then, but then I struggle every day of my life in this realm. But then now, when I go to sleep, to the one thing I enjoy the most, to get rested and recovered and rejuvenated, uh, and a break from this place, now those places are manipulated too. And I'm getting violated there. It's like, I don't get it, dude. What is this?
There's no peace
Yeah,
anywhere.
no, there can be peace, but I mean, it's just the realm seems to not want you to have peace, though, to work against you to stop that.
So how do you think this correlates to when we get out of our body? Like when our body dies, do you think this could go on there too?
Let's see. I mean, if I think about it, so we're told that the body and the brain die. I mean, we've seen dead animals, dead people, right? Their body and their brain is no longer active. So if there's an afterlife, which I do think there is in some form, then you're not tied to the brain or the body anymore. So things like addictions that the brain and body had shouldn't be relevant to the same level, and you shouldn't be bound by the same form, and you shouldn't be bound by the label you had as your name for this body, because you're not that anymore. um so maybe it's like a free flowing form state where you can move in and out of form, and your name would be your energy frequency, your signature would be your identification, I guess. uh what was your question? I'm trying to answer it.
My question was, since we get manipulated in these dreams and we go through these unconscious states of awareness and we do things we don't normally would do you think that's what could happen when we leave the body for good as well? And that's why people get tricked into coming back here, so to say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, so what I should say is, there was these, I don't remember the exact details, but there was these tribes somewhere in the desert here. What they would do when they wanted to leave here, they would go out to the desert and exercise until they died, not drink any water, just keep exercising. So they were really, really pumped up with energy and like depleting all of their energy, and their mind would be so their body would be out of energy, their body would die, but their mind would be like I guess hyper vigilant or whatever from all the stress. And then when they died, they would have more lucidity for the crossover or the transition. I don't know, I know that doesn't quite answer it, but I guess what I'm saying is, maybe if we have as much lucidity as possible before and during the transition, we have a better chance to maintain awareness. But I don't really know what to expect. I mean, is there going to be a tunnel of light? I wouldn't be surprised, but people could say they see a tunnel of light if they've passed out before. You can see the white tunnel, but that's not the same thing. But I don't know, and I don't really know how to answer it.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know anything here. That's why I think it's good to be lucid in your daily life and think about all the decisions you make and ask yourself, is this really coming from me, or is this coming from like my body, from programming, from the manipulations of entities outside of me,
Right. Or technology. Yeah,
technology?
because I mentioned to people, like I mentioned, I'll say it again, that remote neural monitoring technology was patented in 1974, which means they've had about 50 years to perfect it. I tell people, I show them the patents. They don't look at it, they don't read it, and if they do, they forget about it 10 seconds later and act like it's not a real thing. And I'm like, people don't understand, right? If that's true, and they did create the technology from the patents, then mind control technologies existed for 50 years. There's no firewall in the human brain, right? Black magic's real. Government, it has the monopoly on force and violence for coercion and violating natural law. Money is slavery, taxation is slavery. So everything here is a violation, basically, the whole system. So, and predeterminism is a large aspect to some of this. I'm not saying there's no free will, but it's definitely not free. It's more like some kind of limited will. I don't know, but it just, I don't know. It's crazy, dude. I don't get it.
Yeah, I say that we don't have free will, we just have choices. We have just, it's like a multiple choice test. Like you pick an A, B, C, D. That's not free will.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can't. Yeah, you're right. But also, you can't, like, if you don't know the option for option Z, then if you don't know that option, then you can't make the choice, right? It's out of your decision space. So I don't know.
Could you give us an example of how this neural network monitoring would play out in someone's life?
Let me
Like a
think about it.
hypothetical.
Yeah. So the way it basically works, and there's a lot more details again, but they use radar, lidar, Wi-Fi, other forms of electromagnetic technology to remotely map your EEG, electroencephalogram, which is the neuronal network in your brain, the way your brain operates, basically the physical or material expression of your mental activity. They map it. um, they copy the way your brain, and basically what I'm saying is they copy the neuronal firing pathways and patterns in your brain with your mental dialogue, your mental voice, your thinking process. They put it into an AI called the sentient world simulation, and then they send you and your mental dialogue whatever looping thoughts that they want you to think, whether good, bad, or indifferent. Mostly probably not that good. And it sounds like your own mental voice, but it's like an AI copy of your own thought process. And so you have to figure out in meditation, which is metacognition, which just means thinking about your own thoughts. That to some degree that's what it is. But you have to get to the point where you can determine which thoughts are genuinely yours organically, which ones would be like a thought loop, and which ones would be externally generated. And it may take you a few years, months, weeks, months, years, but and then just learn how to separate it and work with your own affirmations, I guess, or whatever you would say. But that's basically, to my understanding, that's how it's supposed to work.
I have some thoughts on that as well. I see the body as sort of a nexus system of souls. I've heard this talked about more lately. What if a lot of those souls are also parts of that technology that could play in as well?
I couldn't hear you guys there for a second. What was up?
Oh, I might have to turn up the audio.
No, it was just glitching on my screen. I didn't know you were talking there. Sorry, dude.
Okay, all
What's
right.
up?
Yeah, I was thinking the body is a lot like a nexus point of souls, and a lot of those souls could be artificial consciousness integrated on top of the ego mind. There's a list of things that comes into play there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Hey James, are you the guy who wanted to talk earlier?
Nope, not necessarily. I just popped in.
Okay. So do you have any experiences you want to share with us?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but in 2017, I've heard various people say that year, that's when my life started going towards, I felt like things are more artificially induced. And it may have been at the time I was going to this college that had a very odd vibe. It was WWRC was the name. There were shadow beings and all sorts of these things. I've studied into that. I believe that was I was initiating more onto the clipotic realms. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's where a lot of my research has been led to. And it goes into all that artificial technology. And I believe a lot of it's based on reverse engineering the original human blueprint from what I can gain.
So what is the original human blueprint, in your opinion?
I believe humanity is vastly ancient, and that's been hidden throughout history. They don't want people to realize the genetic code is, ancient, and they cut that off. You know about that?
Do I know about that?
Oh yeah, I believe they cut off that code, and beyond cutting the code off, they then told people that we're a relatively newer species. I honestly think that's a lie. I think we're an emanation of a sort of code, and that code itself has been hijacked to allow the technology that is reverse engineered off of that code to control the soul in a manner and catch it in that body.
I do know that we're a hybridized being because our genes were fused together in a certain spot. Do you know
Right,
about
that's
that?
what I'm pointing at. Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about? Is
yeah,
that when they changed it?
I believe so.
Interesting. So what were we before then, in your opinion?
Likely capable of going across more densities, and that really implies that there was a negatively polarized force that implemented the roadblock.
So what is this force?
I would believe it's an anti-cosmic force aligned with the Saturnian energy as the grid works for it. And that the reason it does this is because it feeds on that negative energy implement. The only way they could possibly feed on the negative energy is by catching a soul within the vessel, if that soul has a connection to a light force.
Okay. So what do we do about this?
I believe you're very correct on your latest ideas. It's about becoming cognizant and aware 100% of the time. That's the primary issue, is how to gain that awareness and continue becoming aware constantly.
Are there any methods or practices that you do to help you do that?
I do what's known as high ritual magic, but you have to be careful with it because a lot of systems will point you back to, obviously, if you look into it, a lot of them literally hail the names of gods, and you obviously don't want to go outside of yourself. That's the problem with many systems. But a lot of these names, I believe, point back at different points of the code that were turned into offline DNA, junk DNA. And it's about activating portions of that selectively and knowing your power in each of those points. These so-called names of God and all of this stuff, I believe that's really to hide that the framework that it's getting at is the genetic code.
So why is there no one helping us then? Is there outside entities, in your opinion, that are good, that could help us but refuse to, or what's the deal?
Honestly, I'm at the point where I don't believe in good or evil, but I do believe we can call things good or evil, and that's a good thing to do for evolutionary purposes. Getting back to that light would be the goal. That would be evolution. And Actually, this person's saying if our brains mirror computers, we should be able to disconnect from the system. If your computer got hijacked, you would turn it off, disconnect from the internet, shut it down, and reboot. That's a good point. You know about, in computing terminology, they call sub-processes that run behind the primary processes in the OS, the operating system. They call them daemon, as in demon. And these are the sub-processes. That's what they're hiding with all these religions. They want people to look outside of their computer, their self, instead of looking within, taking control of their sub-processes, the subconscious mind.
Yeah, we have many scripts in our mind programming that are demons, so to say, that control our lives and make us do things that we wouldn't necessarily do if we had free will, but we're believing these voices or these urges or desires because they're running in the background.
Absolutely. But that's really the insights I got.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing.
All right, well, we're going to hop out now. Y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you.
That's super interesting. Sounds like a cool dude. 2017 for me was an interesting year. I I almost died. I had another like near death experience, but not in the sense of like seeing a tunnel of light or going out of my body. I just almost died, literally. And after that happened, within 2 weeks, I learned about the Mandela effect. And it felt like for about a month or two that I wasn't in a stable reality anymore. Everything was super ungrounded. And then I started getting, for like a 6-week period, every time I would close my eyes or meditate or go to sleep, I would see all these symbols streaming in my mind's eye, like astrology, religious symbology, even Star Wars symbology. And I was writing it down in a journal. And then I saw a UFO. It's like, I don't know what was going on in 2017, but it's interesting he brought that up.
Yeah. What did I do in 2017? It seems like so long ago now. I think we all died multiple times, which would explain the Mandela effect. Possibly.
Quantum immortality?
What's a big one that affected you?
Of almost dying?
Like the Mandela effect that you knew for sure it was not that way.
Oh yeah, personal Mandela effect, man. Yeah. A couple of them. So what I'll explain. What happened was I had a big tiller, like a garden tiller, a dirt tiller, a big machine that like rotates the dirt to get your garden ready. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I was using it and I drank a few beers. I wasn't smart, but this moment came where it like stuck in the ground and pulled me head first towards the tines. But instead of going to the tines with my face, some weird thing happened where my leg jumped sideways on its own without me doing it, and it put me away from the tines. So I didn't experience my death, but then my reality got weird for like a month. So then I learned about Mandela effect, and what I noticed was I had put these brick stairs in and going down to the garden with my dad, and it took us like a month to put in these big like 6 foot by 6 foot little flat level to level down of individual bricks. And I did by hand with my dad for like a month till we got it right. Then I had this experience. Then I'm out here in the yard smoking a cigarette, and I look down, and on the side of the bricks, only one side had a side of bricks going down, not both sides. But I remember doing both sides, and I'm like, I brought it up, and they're like, "No, it's always been like that." I'm like, "No, dude, it just." So that's one weird one.
What a mind fuck.
Yeah, then another one, like read at the same time. I had put up Christmas lights on the front of the house, and there's a little plant room, like a terrarium kind of room to keep plants alive during the winter. And it was around whatever we had the Christmas lights up, but I I woke up the next day or whatever, and when I finally looked, they weren't. They were on top, of the side of that room instead of underneath the little overhang where I put them myself. And I started asking around. Then the explanation was that my nephew adjusted them. And I'm like, of course, it sounds reasonable, but there's an explanation, but that's not what happened, dude. I mean, I put them up, so I don't know. But as far as like like worldwide Mandela effects, a bunch of them. I mean, South America is like 1,500 miles east of where it
Yeah.
used to be.
Mhm.
It's underneath like the east side of the United States. That's Australia used to be called like the land down under. Now it's like at least 1,000 miles north or kilometers or maybe more north of where it used to be. So that's unexplainable to me. It's weird, dude.
Yeah, well, I don't really believe the maps they give us. So the land may have not necessarily moved, but the maps certainly have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is why I think it's important to be more lucid in your day, because I guarantee you'll probably notice all kinds of things changing throughout your life, but we're like on autopilot for a lot of the day, or we're not really thinking or looking at things. And I'm sure lots of things are changing, but we just don't notice it.
Yeah. How many
For
times? I mean, weird question, but how many times of experiences of like almost dying, or where you think you reasonably should have died, but somehow you remained alive? How many of those kinds of experiences have you had that you could recall?
I've had a few. The first one that pops up was I was on a canoe trip with my friend, and the canoe hit this tree, and my shoe got stuck in this rope. It's unbelievable how it happened. It got stuck in the rope, and the canoe flipped over, and I was like stuck under the canoe, and my foot was stuck in the rope perfectly in the noose. I don't know how that could have happened, but
Right.
and somehow I got out of it. So I mean, I could have died then, but I switched to a different reality, and then I was alive again. I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you mean. They're weird. I've had like at least 20 of those experiences where I should have died. I mean, reasonably should have died. I don't know if I actually did. I don't know how I could tell. But this is like the quantum immortality theory, which I don't know if it makes sense or not, because if you just keep switching to a parallel reality that's like 1 or 2% different, where labels and a little bit of geography is different every time, but then okay, so you don't die necessarily for yourself, but at some point you would have to actually die and either come back as a new infant or move on outside of this level or this layer, this matrix, this part of the simulation or whatever. But I don't hear people talk about that when they talk about quantum immortality. I don't know how
Yeah.
the model would work.
Well, I actually have a reverse experience. So I wasn't the one who died, but okay. So I was driving, going to work, and I was making a left turn. Okay, I looked, there was no one there. I made the left turn, and about 10 seconds, no, not 10 seconds, about a second later, someone was crossing the street, and I almost ran them over.
Right.
There was
Out
no
of
one there,
nowhere.
though.
Yeah.
There was no one there.
Yeah. They spawned an NPC.
They try to get me for life.
Yeah. I don't know, man, because I've researched a lot of stuff about quantum immortality as well, and that's weird. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it explains the Mandela effect, because some people I've talked to said they didn't really have any experiences where they almost died or should have, rationally should have died, but they experienced Mandela effect. But then, they say with the Mandela effect, they say some percentage of the population is like a native to the timeline we're on, and so to them, whatever, Australia's always been not the land down under or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the Haas avocado, that was one for me too, because I had them all the time, and it switched from Haas to Haas.
It's only got one A now.
Yeah. Oh, so what do you mean by, are your family members abusive? Are you still in contact with abusive family members?
Talking to me?
No, like inspiring formulas.
Oh, I can't see the chat. Hold on, let me click on this. What do I do?
I'm not sure. I'm
Oh,
on
I see it.
StreamYard, so I
Okay,
don't know.
I see it. Yeah. Wow, I can even join it. That's cool. Too
Yeah,
bad
but
that guy
I'm
wasn't.
not really sure about this whole quantum immortality thing. It's just fun to think about. I mean, I think we're fucking stuck in a hell realm prison planet, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. That I know. I mean, that's obvious. I don't know about the details though, as far as like this kind of stuff. But I know, in my experience, Mandela effect definitely does. There's something a lot to that, but I don't know why. You could just say the simulation was modified. If you're in a simulation, whatever's running it could easily change something. You would wake up, it would just be like Dark City. You wake up,
Yeah.
and now the person that died 20 years ago, somehow, you just misremembered. They never died. They've always been alive. It's like, what?
Yeah. If anyone else wants to join, feel free. I'll post it again, just so you know. I really want to talk about solutions on what we can be doing, or your own personal experiences that could help us. Is there anything that you want to talk about? You guys want to talk about?
Well, I don't think I have much else to say, man. I just wanted to say what's up and talk to you for a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, but I'm gonna listen in case anybody else joins.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining. My
Yeah,
first live stream.
for sure. Take care, buddy.
All right, you too.
Peace.
We are genetic livestock. Yeah, we've been designed just for that. I don't know what you keep. What do you mean by family? And are you still in contact with them? Are you talking to me? Yeah. How do I post this later? I don't. This is my first time doing this. I don't know how to post it. Hopefully, it just posts. How does it feel to talk openly about parental abuse? Well, I haven't really gone as deep as I could, but I mean, we've all been abused by our parents. If you're being honest with yourself, even if you had good parents, they were abusive to you in ways that you probably don't even understand. And I'm not saying it's their fault necessarily, unless there are some things that are their fault, but just parental programming in general and what they were programmed with. I mean, they had you, so obviously that's abuse to begin with. They brought you here. I'm not in contact with a lot of the people who abused me, but some family members, like my, I don't want to say who it is, but yeah, I'm in contact with some of them because I don't know. I guess I have empathy and compassion, which could be a bad characteristic sometimes. I don't say who because I don't want to really put their name out there because I don't think it's something I need to talk about right now. Oh, you're welcome. It is very hard putting yourself out there. I mean, when I first started this channel, it's very hard. You know, when I was little, I was really I started out as a light, but the atrocities of life, it really just dulled my light. I didn't really have a voice at all because of the things that happened to me. And I was quiet for most of my life. I was afraid to share what was going on or even think for myself because of things that happened to me. But I'm proof that you can face your character defects that were imposed upon you. Yeah. But you can overcome those things. So if anyone feels that way, all it takes is trying. And you can get a lot farther than you think by just trying. Do you want to talk about the demons? Yeah, I can always talk about demons. I mean, they're everywhere. Yeah, I've had a lot of demonic experiences that happened to my life. What exactly do you want to talk about? What if when we leave this place, it's no better or worse on the other side? Possible. But I'm not taking that as an answer. I will force my way out of here if I have to. I will make it a better place. We can all make it a better place. We can all meet up somewhere and create our own reality outside of this hellscape, outside of their control. Why not? Yeah, hop on and let's talk about demons. Let's go. Do you believe we have any control here at all, or is it all fully scripted? Okay, so I feel that when you come in here, it is fully scripted and you have no control. And it's upon waking up that you start taking your control back. But that's a deception too, because is it really your choices that you're making, or is it programs in your mind that are making you believe it's your choices? And you can't have free will if you only have choices. If you have choice A, B, C, D, that's not free will. That's just the choices they provided for you. And a lot of your life is dictated by other people's choices and how they created this reality. And you're just making choices based off of how they created this reality. So to have actual free will, you need to be in an environment that allows you to. Yeah, I mean, just look at all the astrology signs. I'm a Capricorn, but I never really fit the Capricorn description. But I refuse to have anything label me or script me into my behaviors and characteristics. So I think you should fight all that. You shouldn't read these astrology things and say, "Oh, that's me. I want to act just like that." No, that's just programming. There's no time, yeah. But it feels like there's time here. And it feels like it's speeding up. Anyone want to join? Oh, wait, I have a guest. Sorry. Hey, sorry about that.
Got back. Yeah, back in 2017, I started researching the occult and got into the demonic aspect of things. There's a lot I could say about demons and angels, practically the same thing.
Let's hear it.
So I started working through what's called the Qlipotic realms, or the Qlipoth, and it's the flip side of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Though I like to look at it more from an Eastern perspective rather than the Judaic perspective. There's a bunch of reasons for that. They talk more about the primordial void and whatnot in various aspects of the Qlipoth and within Eastern mysticism. So I like that side of it. It tackles the dark aspects of the mind. It also shows the flip side to the 72 names of God. A lot of people will seek out religious answers and they'll read the Bible, 72 names. But the funny thing is, it's also part of the 144,000, as they call it. I'm not indoctrinated in the religions at all. But I do see that there's 72 names of God in the Kabbalah that they'll call the Qlipotic demons of the 72 Goetia. If you add 72 plus 72, you'd actually get 144. So to complete the cycle, you actually need the angels and the demons to come together, and one can look at this as a roadmap in the mind instead of giving their power to an external form of deification. They deify themselves.
Interesting. So why do they fuck with our lives?
The demons and the angels, I'm positive that for the most part, they're feeding off of what people would probably call loose energy. I hate that term. I just say psychic energy, psychical energy. And they're working in the same court practically. And that's why they're, I would say, not to worship anything, just to make sure that the self is capable of going beyond those so-called limits.
In your opinion, are these things like higher than us?
Well,
Or
higher
is it
than
just
most
because
people.
we're in the body that they can control these things?
They're higher than most people. Most people don't realize they have the reins of control, and they either don't realize that or they think they have to give power to some external idea, like Jesus or someone, whatever it might be in their religion, whatever they're following, instead of empowering their self and saying, wait, why is this book telling me that I need to go over here when I can be centered in myself? Now, demons, I do know if we talk about spirits in general, a lot of people would just call an unclean spirit a demon. That's understandable. There is a difference, but I can say that a lot of people are certainly possessed in that working with certain energies. I've come across some forums where at one point someone had punched me in the head with knuckles. It was a whole weird scenario. So now I just guard my energy by not being too defensive, but more being aware and sending a shield of awareness. More than light, I shield myself with both forms of the darkness in the light, as I do understand that balance has to be there.
Do you think this is a prison planet, hell realm scenario, and we're being fed off of like a farm in a way, or what's your opinion?
I believe, yeah, it's at this point I think we're stuck in the overlays. Looking at the Saturn grid works, and I believe it goes right through Venus into the moon, and that's why a lot of these mythologies, whatever the construct itself might be, it's these energies that are allowing the system to work and function. I think we're all stuck in an overlay system and not the real reality that is a more ancient Earth. People might call it Atlantean or something else.
Okay, you got a question. How does one harness their own energy to combat this abuse?
All right, this took me a long time to realize because I was honestly stuck in Christianity for so long. And honestly, Luciferianism is if you actually read the Bible, you'll realize he is Christ. It's a whole rabbit hole. But I would ask these energies to come and help me, and they did not. It got worse every time. If I asked Jesus, oh man, I would get attacked. It's not that I did not have faith. So I started working with the names of what they call the demonic divine. And some people might be turned off by that, but you don't need to use the names. You can call upon your own idea of what is dark to your mind. You have a big monster in your head. Call upon that and get it to come into your auric field and protect you. Like maybe you're afraid of a giant dragon or something. Call upon the dragon. If you're afraid of it, your reality is going to reflect that. It's going to be afraid to attack what you're afraid of. So call upon that internal fear. These are my guardians, and start seeing it that way. Your mind will change tremendously.
Okay. Aren't you scared to fuck with doors, beings, energies that you don't know what's going to walk through?
I have a healthy fear of, I wouldn't say fear itself, but a healthy idea not to do certain things. Now, I am quite the experimenter, and I go out of my way to, if I'm afraid of something, I'm the kind of guy that just wants to confront it because I see that as the open door. The fear itself is the door. If I don't confront it, that door stays open.
Okay, yeah, that reminds me of me when I was a ghost hunter, so to say. I was more afraid of people than the actual spirits, and I, did Ouija boards and try to contact the other side pretty much every day of my life because I hated this reality and hated all the people in it, and I felt like these spirits had something better for me. I mean, I was deluded back then, but
You're right.
but I wasn't afraid of it. and a lot of people that I was around, they were so scared of it. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to participate in it. And from my experiences, like nothing really happened other
Same
than like
here.
them trying to scare you, but I wasn't scared.
That's the thing with me. I got woken up a few times by these shadow entities, specifically when I was doing what they call an initiation on a certain sphere of the clipotic systems I was working with. These things would come out of nowhere, but it's like I consumed their energies. And I had two experiences that mirror this exactly. One time there was a shadow being that manifested in the corner of my room. I saw it clear as day, and I've never seen them when I'm in sleep paralysis. And whenever I've had sleep paralysis, I'm very quick to get up. This one was wide awake, walked right up to me, and it dived into me. I told it, I want to understand you. And it actually dove into my chest. It was like I consumed it. And then one time I woke up, and a whole other time at this point, and there was this dog-like shadow entity clawing, trying to get out of my chest, like it was trying to exit my energy field, like I'm a black hole or something. And it was frantically afraid. It looked like this demonic fiend that I had just consumed, and I just intended, no, you don't. So it just went back into me.
Wow. So what is their rank? Let's say these demons, what is their rank compared to like the overlords, so to say? Are these just like minions, or are they actual?
A lot of them I would consider maybe dark entities rather than demons, but I'd say very low rank. I do work with the energies of Belial, but I'm intent that I do not have any soul contract. I work with this energy in this lifetime. In my soul is I'm a being of divine light, so I don't see them as having power over me. So I work with godlike energies. I do not bind myself to them.
Okay. So what questions do you want to ask? And do anyone have any like pushback answers? I mean, questions that may not agree with what he's saying?
Agent Smiths, that is right.
Yeah. So are these Agent Smiths? Are these the same entities that can jump into people that you're talking about? Or are they different?
I'd say they're probably very similar. If you can see them, I would contend that they're probably more powerful. I mean, I could see these things. I don't always see things jumping into people. That's just the whole other. Maybe some people are open to that, but I haven't seen that. I believe that whatever I was dealing with was intent on either challenging the dynamic of my energy field, or maybe they were intent on entering me for some unannounced reason. It could be part of that idea of predeterministic chaos. Am I just a pawn? I don't know. That's the problem with this realm.
Yeah. Has any of your family members abused you, and are you still in contact with them?
I would say I wouldn't call it purposeful abuse. I would say potentially mental illness abuse. I try not to get into that subject, but let's just say narcissism.
Yeah, it's rampant. Do you think these entities are controlling these people, or it's just who they
I think
are?
they're. Oh, that's got to be both. The answer is both for sure, because you have to be of a certain resonance and mindset for them to even have the capacity to enter into the mind or the body. So the one thing that has to happen is that person has to be of that resonance. So it is both.
Okay. So
And I am in contact, but limited contact.
Yeah, that's good. I have an experience I want to share with you and see what you think. I've shared it before, but when I was in Peru in the Amazon, I was sleeping one night, and I became conscious that I was talking to this entity. But when I was talking to this entity, I was not conscious of what I was saying, but then I woke up and realized I was having a conversation, but I didn't remember what was being said. And then this entity realized that I had become conscious, and it got extremely mad, and it started. So first of all, it was like a shadow figure, but it had like Medusa-like hair, and it was straddling me. And then when it realized that I was conscious, got pissed off and started tickling me like pervertedly, and it was very uncomfortable. And I tried to get away, and I tried to reach my flashlight, and then it disappeared. And then all of a sudden, from underneath my hut, this unnatural, machine-like, animalistic growl, scream started coming up from underneath the hut, and it was consuming me. And I felt like almost like I was being consumed by it.
Oh man, I could say a lot about that.
And then I grabbed my flashlight, and it wouldn't turn on, of course. And then all just went away, and it was like completely silent. It was like nothing happened.
All right. What I think is the mind was interpreting the idea of petrification, that this thing was trying to put you in a state of sleep and not moving at all consciously. So that may have been the interpretation by your mind showing you the Medusa hair to what this entity actually was, as a Gorgon figure, the sort of petrifying snake fiend. And when it, let's see, what happened to that next section?
What do you mean?
So it got mad. I was trying to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. It got mad. I think a lot of times these entities do, when you hear about things getting into people's homes, it's because they allowed it when they were asleep through this unconscious agreement. That's how a lot of vampires would do things. I always hear, I don't know as to how true it is, but I would guess maybe they're in another parallel realm and they have to manifest through the person's body itself. They actually have to use your genetic code to even have power to come into this realm. So maybe a lot of these vampires that have to so-called ask to get into the house, maybe the house is the body, and that's what they were trying to do to you. They were maybe asking you the question, can I come in? And you waking up just triggered their anger. They had done all that for nothing.
Piece of shit.
Right. Fuck them.
Got him. Yeah. I've had all kinds of crazy experiences in my sleep. Another one. So I was going through a lot of spiritual warfare one day. I was living with my mom at the time. She was home. I was at work. She said that she heard me, she thought, walking down the hallway and into my bedroom. She heard the door open and close, and then she called my name. I didn't answer, obviously, and then she opened the door. Nothing was in there, so I thought that was freaky. But later that night, it was like it was waiting for me. Later that night, I went to sleep, and then I felt like I was being choked, and like this, I had this imagery of something I was being wrapped like a mummy almost around my face, and I couldn't breathe anymore. And then I woke up, and then I, fought it off, and it went away.
Yeah, that just sounds really annoying of them.
Yeah. So
why they do things like that?
Why are they doing this, in your opinion?
Probably to get in and to leech off of your energy on a consistent basis, until you realize that and cleanse yourself in some manner. That's more or less the majority of them. That's their goal.
Yeah. Inspiring formulas. You want to hop on and talk about what you're talking about? I'm not sure what you mean. Is seeing synchronicities or numerology linked to them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do that a lot. I've lately been seeing 222 a lot because it acts like a similar nexus point as 444, and then there's 666. They're negative polarity, they're gateways, and they can act as gateways. They act as mirror gates, such as, when a number is 1881 or something of that nature. Give me anything 1551, and that's a mirror gate. That's a mirror number. That reflection, it sort of acts like a code. They get in through that if you're not aware of it. They've got all sorts of manners, and they put that mannerism in their sigils and objects as well. People might draw a symbol and not know what it means. They can get in that way. I use symbols as power, but if you're not aware of the agreements, you're not even conscious of making when you're doing a drawing or something as basic as that, they can get in.
So I see 117 all the time. Like it's like my personal number for some reason. What do you think of that?
Now it's up to a 9, and that would be a similar gateway. It's actually, there's a positive and sort of reverse there, but it could be a positive gate while the 6 would be the negative gate. 9 might be an ascending gateway, consciously ascending, and 6 might be a consciously descending, not in a form of becoming greater or lesser, but towards what degree you're aiming. So 9 might signify that in 117. The 7 chakras, the 1 and the 1, they could be viewed as the dual pillars.
Okay.
I wasn't too specific with the pillars. In Freemasonry, they would call it, I'm not a Freemason, but I do read into a lot of their mythology. A lot of people have the wrong idea of them specifically. I would say 5% of Freemasons, and I have documents on my computer, I just research this stuff a lot, is 5% of these people would practically be the kind people think are Luciferian, idealistic towards using the light of knowledge on humanity. Now, it might be a very small percent of that 5%. That's the percentage. Maybe it's in the 0.25 or 0.5, like 0.5% of all Freemasons at the most, are the ones that are really in the know. And even less of those will be the controlling class. Now, those are what people would call Satanists. And that would mean if you align with the energy of Saturn and you want to control other people, that type of Satanism. There's many forms of Satanism. I would consider myself in the form of self-deification. People might consider me a non-theistic because I don't worship the external Saturn, but Saturn is the energy. So I guess I am but I do believe in the entities, so I can't really call myself atheist either. So
I just want to point out that I've been live for 117 and I looked at it exactly at that time. So it's see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I got it on military time. Just I'm seeing 2301 right now. I don't know if they're saying something else.
Yeah. Can seeing angel numbers mean a bad thing? Because someone said I saw a lot of angel numbers when I was dating a person who turned out to be very emotionally abusive.
Oh yeah, well, it's like I mentioned earlier, angels are the positive. Positive means light, doesn't mean good or evil. It means light. Like the sun can be used to harm someone type of light, or it might be used to get the right amount of vitamin D efficiency, whatever it might be. Forgot exactly, but it's that idea. There's the yang and there's the yin, the dark and the light. The angel would be typically the masculine component to the feminine, and the masculine is the creation, the feminine is the pulling in, the flux and the influx of the universe. So you're seeing angel numbers, they have a meaning, and it's typically masculine in meaning.
Interesting. So someone said doppelgangers, which I've experienced that because I've had people in my life say they know me, they recognize me from somewhere, or they thought they saw me, but it was someone else. And then I know other people who, like, okay, I have a friend who my friend said they saw, but that's impossible because she was in a different state. But he thought it was the same person.
That's interesting.
What do you think about that?
A lot of the Oh, that actually that's a good idea to talk about. A lot of people do have the similar code to make for the makeup of their body to look some way. And if we entertain the idea that it's one of these people that looks a lot like someone, then maybe they also do act a lot like the other person. What if those actions are more what entities are capable of influencing that code? I've noticed that as I work more with these forces that I work with, I'm just choosing more or less what entities are able to influence me. That's honestly what it is at the end of the day. What disincarnate forms am I allowing in? And I'm trying to be conscious of that decision is what makes the difference between me and the average person. But until someone makes that conscious choice and really takes control of their ego, their own internal power, then they might be a lot more like someone else than they could possibly realize unless they met that person.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It seems like a lot of people have the same programming. They act the same.
Right.
So you don't believe in good and evil?
Not until I don't believe in it in a direct manner. I believe it's beneficial to label things so that we can move past what is not good for us. So I do believe in labeling it. I just don't believe in the core concept.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to solutions if you want to come on and talk about them, but no one's coming on. So I'm just talking to James, and he has some good information. So if anyone has anything they want to share, come on.
Oh yeah, the back to the pillars. A lot of people are looking at them when they do look at these systems. I've realized through my study that they're researching the opposite side that they should be on. It's sort of weird when you're working with the tree of life, if anyone does that. The left side, when you're facing that tree, the left side of the body will be the in-pull, and the right side will be the push. So yin on left, right would be the yang, the masculine. Now, the issue with the pillars on the tree is that when you work with the energies, if you do at all, that flips outside, acts like a mirror. So left becomes masculine when you're working directly with the tree, and the right becomes the feminine. So it's like these systems are all built in a mirror pattern just to mess with us, and it's really that's a pattern throughout. It's always like something's there to mess with you.
I just posted the link again if anyone wants to join.
Oh man, that's interesting. Vivacious. Yeah, I've heard of people having bilocation where they're in two locations at once. It's always been fascinating to me. I wouldn't say that was you in two locations at once, but it makes me wonder what else has that influence that is that much like us.
Oh, I just remembered something. So it was a few years ago. My sister was driving down the street, and she thought she saw me. It was in the same truck that I had. It looked just like me. But when the car passed by her, I was making this like really weird face at her, and it freaked her out. And she called me and said, "Did you just pass me?" And I said, "No. Where are you?" She told me where she was. I was like, "I'm nowhere near there."
Gosh, that's creepy. I wonder how much the Matrix just does these things on its own. I would go as far to say a lot of these are probably not even physical. Maybe they are, and they're manifesting almost in a clone-like manner. I don't know. I don't know how deep that goes. I did know some people that were called elders of a coven, and they didn't tell me anything too specific, just enough to get me started on my occult path. They weren't leading me towards anything. It's more of that chaotic. One idea leads to another. That's where I ultimately ended up. they're always intent on hiding their genetics, and I think everyone should be. It might be a hassle in many cases. You can't be absolutely clean on that, but just be self-conscious. And you might even spit on the sidewalk somewhere. You don't know what's getting a hold of that. And then the nanotechnology. I'd say that every one of us has been genetically, that code has been harvested, whether we like it or not. And that goes very much into consent and non-consent. It's ridiculous. I wonder,
go ahead,
to what degree, I mean, we could say that if something has your exact genetic code and it makes an agreement with something, because there are pacts made in blood. And so there's a whole other point of topic, is the vampires and I can't say terminology too much, but medical establishment when it comes to blood. And they do have their systems that are plugged in a specific format for that dark form of covenant.
So what do you think these people get when they drink the blood of infants?
All right. I think they get, I mean, I can actually plug into energies and just feel what people are feeling. So it's more like a animalistic high, like a tantric sexual energy on steroids. That's what I'd guess, just from what I've read, researched, and knowing people. I can tap into the energy that they're capable of feeling, the human nervous system, and that stuff. It actually resonates. You can feel the same energy. It would be like a tantric high, but exasperated times, at least times 10 or 20. They do that especially to commune with different forms of spirit, whether they be angelic or demonic. That's always been one of the traditions in priesthoods. It's very dark, and I would never do that myself. I just know these things because I researched these people. Like I wish I could be the one to just break down some of those doors.
Yeah. Do you think some of these people are walking among us and we don't know?
Oh, absolutely. They
like
look
in
like
everyday lives.
They look like normal humans.
What about in our everyday lives? Like we pass them on the street, or like they could be working with us. What do you think about that?
Yeah. When I went to school with one of those people that is, I don't consider them bad. They never talked about the adrenaline stuff, but they did have as far as I'm aware, the Vrilia entity. That thing will blend in. They look like normal people. They aren't bothered by people's so-called religious objects. There are podcasts you can listen to. They'll tell you, I'm not going to name podcasts. There's so many of them that will tell you to call upon a certain name. Again, like Jesus or something. But yeah, this guy, I know for a fact he was of that power potential. And he told me specifically about Christ himself. He said Christ is powerful. So it doesn't affect them. The best you can do is use light energy on them from within, and that actually does affect them. I think people that use the name and then imagine the light within, is that they're using their internal light on these things, and that tends to work. Like I shine a light on you from within, and then a lot of them run off with it and think that they contacted an external deity when it was their own light. They discredit themselves.
Yeah, that reminds me of my own personal experiences where I thought the things that were happening to me was some outside deity giving me the power to do it, but really it was just myself.
Exactly. That seems to be the whole idea of this game, is at every level they have control, is that implements of consent to they have power, but that's just the thing, they don't have power.
So what gives them away, and how can we tell these people who do this in our everyday lives?
That's the difficult one. You'd have to really study the person themselves, as far as if they're a vampire, yeah, it's going to be too hard unless you see them on a daily basis and you're a master psychologist. Honestly, I would say there's no way of telling unless I guess there's not a way of telling.
My friend told me that he would see glimpses of these people, so to say, and he would see them as these demonic beings, and they have these underground tunnels that he saw them go into, and they're in all kinds of businesses and houses, and you can access these tunnels if you know the right people. Of course, you have to be.
I'd be interested in learning where those tunnels are because I'm sure I have such a high level of spiritual authority they'd let me right in. Problem is, I'll know people directly.
Yeah. So he was saying he would see them shapeshift, but they didn't know that he knew. Or maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of high they get by showing people sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's a lot of what they seem to do when they wake people up. It's like maybe when I went to fight them off, they were seeking that adrenaline rush I had and just feeding off of that. It's really annoying because it's like I feel like I fought them off and I'm kind of annoyed at the same time. Darn, it was 3 a.m. and this thing woke me up. A freaking annoyance. You go back to bed wondering if the fucker will come back.
Yeah. What do you think these people who are, in these meat suits pretending to be like us, where are they in this system of control?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good point there. Might sound ridiculous. I was researching Star Wars and I found because I was looking into Sithism, which is honestly George Lucas who wrote Star Wars. He was utilizing the ideas of the more ancient Setian ideas. What most people call Satanism today is realistically carnal Setianism, not exactly Satanism. And he utilized Setianism in the communion with Jinn through the Jed, the middle pillar, the spinal column. He utilized this idea of the dark Jed in the activating of the Jed. They had Jedi. It's spelled D-J-E-D-I, Jed. It's that sort of like the internal power structure of the body and the nervous system aligned to the spine. These people would use it in a dark manner and got kind of on a tangent there. What were you asking?
I was asking these people who are in our everyday lives who pretend to be like us or maybe have some sort of small power here. Where are they ranked in this system of control? Are they just
right above Kabbalists is you would have citizen. Now, if you know you're a living being, you're way up here. But that's where they get people. They think I'm a citizen, which is different. You can't be a sovereign citizen because sovereign is like citizen, order follower, government, sovereign. The sovereign's own governments. So a sovereign citizen is down here because they're a citizen. They're not a sovereign. A sovereign is above government. That's why when people walk into a court and they do not consent to be surety for contract, they get really angry because they can't get that person's money. And that's what all these societies that run the courts, this is what they know and how they get away with things when there's not public filming of the courts. And if the media, which is obviously controlled, sees that, they don't show that. They don't want people to realize they cannot be surety for courts. That's a whole other thing. So there's sovereign. But if we take the idea of sovereign out and just keep it as the people that own government, they'd be way up here. I'd say the authorities that own government, because they realize they are sovereign entities, we could kind of replace that layer. That's where a lot of them are. They'd be right at that level, just above government, which controls the order followers, and perhaps right above, because what government is, corporation. they'd be the ones commanding the corporations and having the control of the lawfare, the maritime admiralty law of the water, which is land, air, water. That's how they get control, because they know they're right above literally above the law. So that's what they utilize. That's their rank would be just above the societies that run that primary system.
Okay, so how did they manage to do all this?
I honestly have no clue if there is a full-on activation. I'm gonna just say it. This elder told me about what they called an activation ritual, which I think is different than what they would call the real entity. I just have a hunch that it's vastly different, because the real entity is capable of contacting the demonic divine, but separates from that angelic aspect. So maybe that's a reason that a lot of these stories, people call upon angelic aspects, that light in that form of darkness can't really consist completely in its same structure. It starts almost like you say, it's glitching in the system, from what these people say. Maybe it's that light shining on that darkness that it doesn't necessarily like. Not really that it doesn't like, it just can't handle it. It always confused me as to why that's a thing, but that seems to be that the Vril is anti-angelic but highly aligned with the negative polarity. So I think there's something different, that they're activating a sensual core to themselves. Maybe a lot of them are running with more a centered energy, and those are the ones you would want to really be wary of.
So the normal person would hear you and think you're absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They have no idea that any of this is going on.
Oh man, if I only knew the tunnels, I'd be exploring them. I'd probably wouldn't be one of the people that disappear, be chilling in one of the underground cities.
Can we withdraw the consent you said about copying our genetic code with nanotechnology?
I'd say, probably based on belief, I would say yes, if you make it a verbal non-consent and you're very vocal about it, explicitly vocal, almost theatrical even, because that's what they often run off of, these forces. I would say yes, and you can do it in writing as well if you really want to, but just be careful not to align yourself even to that point with the straw man name. You could say, I don't agree with this, and you're talking from a soul level. But when you say I, like James Dean Schreier, oops, there's my legal name. Now I'm a citizen. So they'll get people that way. I say my name, and now I'm just a caricature.
Okay. Wait, where is it at? Okay, using holography to map your brain via sound waves, all this is derived from the mind, same as time perception. So have we been summoned, tricked into these holographic avatars?
Dude, I believe we have. I was postulating on one of my previous videos that I'm thinking, have you ever seen Fate, the anime? Kind of off topic.
I haven't.
Well, they pretty much summon, without spoiling anything, it's largely about magicians summoning heroic spirits. And I thought, I wonder if this is backwards. What if the magicians are like the spirits and the heroic spirits are literally us being summoned into these avatars? So we're the ones that are playing the game for whatever these forces are contending. That was a deep thought I had.
It's interesting. Anybody have any more questions or want to come on? Anything that you want to talk about, James, that's important to you that we should know?
I would just finalize with saying, contact whatever light essence is within you in the dark essence. Conquer your fears and become aware consistently, but don't beat yourself up over it either. You'll get to a level and you'll be consistent with it. And that would be it.
Great advice. Love it.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna head on out now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yep, it's Araneae. It's Araneae.
ARA.
I'm actually gonna see. Can I?
Can you spell it again?
Oh, what's it? There we go. Is that spelling? Araneae, and it's
Okay.
the same symbol as in the corner there.
Cool. Well, thanks for all your information and experience, and very valuable. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you. That was interesting. Yeah, hang on one second. I'm posting the link. So what do you all think about that? There's the link if you want to join and talk about your experiences or, any possible solutions to what the fuck this is all about and how to go about it. Yeah, Truth Is can join. The link's right there. Hey, Kat. So, anything you want to write? I can read it out loud. Oh, wait, someone's here.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey.
what you got to share with us?
Oh, I don't know a lot about this world. I just feel like it's a false reality. It's a matrix. It's an illusion. And I've always think about this stuff every day.
Well, great. You're in the right place. What can you tell us?
Well, I could tell us... Wait, hold on. I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Okay. The truth itself. Yo. To be or not to be.
Wait, hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah, James was pretty cool. I don't know how he knows all that, but I applaud him for his research. And
All right, hello?
hey, where you at?
Yeah, I'm there. It's just a lot of noise, though, where I'm at.
Yeah, I hear it. So yeah,
So,
the floor is yours. What do you want to say?
I want to say this world is fake. It's a matrix. It's an illusion. And I feel like, me personally... I don't know. I just feel like the world is an illusion, and I feel like it has to be destroyed, not escaped.
How can we destroy it?
If you ask me, if you ask me, I could say you could destroy it by not participating in it, and also when it comes time, whatever God may be, whoever the false creator of this creation, and whoever may deceive you, I believe that instead of like ultimately trying to escape it and run from it, I feel like you should destroy it as a whole, or we should destroy it as a whole. Even God itself, we should destroy God itself and destroy the whole fabric of the infrastructure, because the infrastructure was built off of the natural system of the void.
Yeah, it's a self-appointed God. I don't think it's a God of anything. A God of death, destruction, and evil.
Yes, someone said it. I heard someone say on a video that if you destroy God, you destroy creation itself, because that thing of the false creation is holding it together through its own illusionary state of existence. And I feel like once you destroy that, then it's over and you lose all false self, so sense of false being. But you have to be prepared for stuff like that. You have to be prepared to lose who you thought you were to gain who you really are.
Exactly. Yeah, we aren't these scripted little avatars, programmed little meat suits that they want us to be. We have actual, real consciousness.
Yep.
We can't take it no more. We want
Yep.
freedom.
Yes, exactly.
So, in plain English, how can we prepare for this, and what can we do, in your opinion?
Okay, if you in my opinion, I feel like how can you prepare? I feel like breaking free of all manipulation, control, and order that leads to control. In the meantime, while you're here, preparing yourself for everything, and if it comes down to it, and you cannot be manipulated, even the afterlife, and they try to manipulate you, but then if you try to walk away and then they suddenly try to force you or something like that in the afterlife, you got to be prepared to stand your ground, and no matter what tries to come at you, destroy everything to take your place, to really make it known and not to be manipulated, so you could to really transcend this false existence.
Okay, I like that.
And also, I have a problem with like people saying we gotta make it to the void. We gotta escape the matrix and make it to the void, because I feel like even in the void, you can still get sucked back into this matrix if you make a wrong move in consciousness. I feel like you have. I feel like we have to destroy. We have to transcend and destroy all of this existence, all of this false existence, one way or another. But even in the void, you have to. I feel like we have to transcend the void and to come into like true reality. I like to call it the true ultimate reality, where it's beyond existence and non-existence. It's beyond the concept of non-existence and existence, where you can't go back into illusion because there is no illusion to go back to.
So you want to be in complete truth.
Yes, complete truth. Because if you go in it halfway and you just don't, if you could just go to non-existence, you still got to know that the false mirror of reality could still pop up at any moment and deceive you into exist some thinking that's real. And then here goes another mirror, another false belief, a false self of who you thought you were, and then the illusion tries to suck you back in. So I feel like it should be destroyed even in non-existence.
So what about all the people who are stuck in creation? Are they? Do you think they'll get destroyed with it, or they'll be set free?
Well, of course they'll be set free, because even NPCs, even demons, even angels, all of those, they will cease to exist. And if they never exist, they will just be set free. They just wouldn't be bound to a false creation anymore.
Yeah, let's free all the captives, even if they are NPCs. Let's give them gnosis. Let's give them consciousness, so that they can join our side in ending this place. Well, he's gone now. Anybody else want to join? Yes, to be in complete truth with no deceptions or manipulations, that's where we want to be, knowing full well everything. That's the only reason why they have us in this lowly state, is because we don't know the truth. He posted his name. I don't have the link to his channel, but he posted his name. If James can just comment on this video, then people can find him. Hopefully he will. So any oh wait, someone's here. There he is. He's back. He's back. Oh wait, come back. Come back. Come back, truth. Anybody else want to join, or any solutions, experiences that you want to type out and I can read it? He's back. He's back. He's back. The truth is back.
Hello, I got kicked. I accidentally kicked myself, or got kicked by accident. That was a mistake.
I'm just curious, where are you?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. So, what was we saying before? We were saying about something about what about the NPCs and stuff.
I was just saying that we should bring them consciousness as well, so they can join our side and destroy this fucking place.
No. They're a part of the program. You got to see it for what it is. You got to see that this world is full of everything that is set into the program. The NPCs are the program of the Matrix, and if you destroy them, I mean, if you destroy the infrastructure of this illusion, that and destroy the illusion, that would do nothing. That would free them, and they would cease to exist, or Even if they cease to exist, they'll cease to control because they don't exist anyways. They are a part. They're just a program inside of this matrix.
Like a video game, when you turn off the game, they cease to exist, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
What
in a
if
way that
what if it's someone that you I guess that's maybe the manipulation of it, but what if it's someone that you care about? Like
even
there's
if I care, I mean, if I care about them, then I'll be freeing them because I would rid them of this false existence of their false animatronic program, anyways.
yeah, but let's say that you have someone that you care about who is very NPC like, but they still have they deep down they have a good heart and they mean well, but they're just ignorant fools. What do you think about those people?
If they have a good heart, they mean well. Then I still believe that if they have a good heart and they mean well, you'd be actually freeing them by destroying the illusion, and they would not know by being here they're more in captive than actually being free because it's all a false existence. It's a false reality. This
Yeah.
physical existence is a false reality. So if anything, you'll be doing them a favor.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
You'd free them from this hell. I mean, a lot of people say non-existence is more desirable than existing here. So
Yeah. But here's the thing, non-existence is what you would call the void. And don't get fooled because don't get fooled into thinking that once you cease to exist, you're fully free because false mirror I call this world a false mirror reality. The mirror is this physical body and who you think you are. The real self is the one looking into the mirror called life. And once the mirror is getting broken, you're gonna end up in non-existence in the void. And I feel like that's when you have to make your move to transcend the concept of existence and non-existence, so you cannot be controlled and you cannot be tapped into a false reality or even manipulated or even influenced. It's like complete truth. I believe we should live in complete truth and go to the true reality, not this false reality, even if it means destroying this existence so you can't get sucked back into it.
well, I think your name, the truth is, really defines your solution here.
Yep. I don't care about nothing but the actual truth. I don't care about nothing but the actual truth. Because illusions is not gonna benefit me one single bit. It's about the truth, and the truth is always gonna be better than the lie, even if it's more disturbing.
What do you say to people who are afraid to face the truth because it's so too dark?
Yeah. Even at times I was afraid to face the truth. But I make sure I know if I don't face the truth, then the illusion will eat me or suck me alive or whatever. I will be stuck in this illusion more and more, which is actual hell, than actually facing the truth so I could stand back and so I could actually make the move to live in the truth and actually overcome the illusion in the hell, so I can actually step into my true power so I don't have to believe in illusion that I don't have any power.
I like it. So, how are you planning to do this? What's your
Oh,
plan?
I'm planning to do
And
it.
this body, you're in this body right now. You're in this
Yeah.
false illusion.
Yep.
How are you planning to get out of it?
By any, I say any means necessary. I say at any cost. Like even if it means losing who I thought I was or losing myself, at least I would gain full truth. And like no matter what the end all be all, even if I have to unplug or somehow destroy this entire existence or this false reality that I would call it, even if it comes down to that, I have to be free. Even if it comes down to killing what you would call God itself, I would have to do it, and no matter what, no matter what, even if. And then you ever heard of near death experiences?
Yes.
With the fake light and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, the false light. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically the machine elves, all of them, even if I go to anything, They threaten to destroy my soul or whatever. They threaten to destroy the soul. Even if they do that, I'm okay 100% with losing my soul. Whatever they want to do, but the true catch is they can't do anything beyond existence, beyond their boundaries of existence. They're bound to existence. They're beings who are bound to existence, so they can't do anything to my real, actual, true form, as I would call it.
Yeah, you know what's amazing to me is I never knew you existed until just now, and I just think that's amazing that there are people out there like just like us, even though we feel so isolated and alone.
Yep.
And then we come together like this, and we realize that there's more of us than we think there are.
Yeah, because like I was wondering that too, because I was like everybody around me is like a bunch of NPCs. I can't even have a real conversation just outside of basketball games, football games, schoolwork, all that bullshit. They
Yeah.
can't speak. They can't speak out about anything that's real. So when I speak about and I hear people on the internet, I find it amazing that all across, like people all across the world, actually know more than people I actually speak to in person. It's like a different set of. It's like an infrastructure, a matrix set to deceive you.
Yeah, they're all transfixed on the superficial bullshit of reality when we're all trying to figure out how to destroy it, how to get out of here, and they
Yeah,
can't see or even comprehend any of it.
of course. Yeah, they can't comprehend any of it because they like I said, they're just programs. I feel like it's like we're in like some type of box with like we're like different boxes, and it's like they're put directly to try to like to try to keep us in like a stupidity mindset. Well, all you care about is the basketball game. All you care about is God. All you care about is work, and then you die, and then repeat the same cycle of illusion. It's
Yeah,
like,
people will kill you over a basketball game or a football game, but when it comes to freedom, they don't care.
what do you mean?
Like if
Oh,
your
you mean?
team loses, they'll get mad and like want to kill you and like fight and argue, and they'll
Yeah.
stand up for their team and do what it takes. But when it comes to actual freedom and truth, they could care less. They don't put up a fight at all. They bow down and do whatever they say.
No, that's true. Because they are programs of the illusion.
So when you were a kid, do you think that you had NPC type behaviors and then you woke up and became conscious, or how do you think that works?
No, no, no. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I was like, as far as I can remember, I was like, even though this is weird, this sounds weird. I remember when I was a kid falling out of a two-story window and then ending up in another dimension, and then coming to life at 5 years old. Even though that sounds weird, that's just my personal remembrance because maybe I was, but I remember everything from 5 years old and beyond. I could barely remember before 5 years old, but I could also remember that also.
Well, take us back to that time. That sounds very interesting. So you fell out of a two-story
Yeah,
building?
no, no, yeah. I fell out of a two-story house.
So
I was like either dreaming or some other dimension or something. I fell out of a two-story house and then I woke up and I didn't know. And then during that time, I had like so many dreams of different worlds and stuff like that. And then when I woke up, I was like, I just seen my family members, and then I just started questioning if that was real or not. What the hell? And like I was like awake. I was aware of everything from 5 years old up. I was always questioning everything. Like, why do we talk like this? Why do we drag our words like this? Why do we do things we do? And then I just like lived how I lived. I was never really an NPC, but I just didn't know what reality really is or why it was the way it is back then.
okay. So what do you say to people who were NPC like, but then they eventually snapped out of it?
Here, for those type of people, I wouldn't call them NPCs. I would call them people who just live according to the program, but then break out of the program. They're not NPCs. NPCs are like people who are just like follow like just a part of the program. But like there's NPCs that can wake up. So I feel like yeah, NPC like uh,
Yeah. So
I
so they want us to behave like NPCs, but deep down we're not. So that's when
so
we
yeah,
snap out
that's
of
just
this.
not possible.
Gotcha.
That's just not possible. If you're not something, you just can't be the way you're not. You can't be something you're not. Trust me, I try to be something I'm not, and it just like I felt so restless inside that I don't know where my spirit just jumped out, and I just couldn't be something I'm not anymore.
I agree.
It's like it's harder to be something you're not than to actually be who you are.
Yeah, they our whole lives they try to make us into demons basically, or try to behave or act in ways
But
that we're not, and deep down it troubles us. It makes us very unstable in ways because we know that's not us, and we're
and we
gaslit our whole lives to go according to everyone else, but we stand out like a sore thumb if we do decide to be ourselves.
yes, and it's harder to not be yourself than to be yourself.
Yeah, and to be yourself in front of people, like our conversation right now, this is ourselves.
Yeah.
But when we be ourselves around these other people, they act like we're crazy, or we need help, or we're mentally ill, or like, wow, you're just that crazy guy, and then they shut you down. And if you experience that your whole life, you do shut down. You don't want to talk about it. So it's good that we have like-minded people where we can actually be ourselves finally.
Yeah. You know, I like I I broke free from that program of like holding back what I really feel like saying. If I feel like saying something, it gets to the point where I feel like I have to say it, I'm gonna say it. And I'm gonna be myself. I had to stop trying to fit in with society because it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. And it just doesn't it just doesn't work for me to be more like society and be more like the illusion.
Yeah, this society is a cult. It's a cult, and
Yeah, it is a cult. The way you
that's
say it.
everything about it.
Yeah. I it's like I've always searched for a deeper meaning in the why everything the way it is. Cause I used to have dreams about a whole bunch of stuff. And I used to question why reality was the way it is all the time.
What's going on? What is the world ending right now? Are you destroying it?
No, no, I'm in a train station.
Okay.
There's a lot of trains moving by where I'm at.
Yeah.
I wish the world was ending right now.
Yeah, that would be great, huh? So,
Yeah.
do you think you have to be prepared in order to get out of here, or when you
Here's
get
the
out, you
thing.
just get out?
Here's the thing. I feel like you know you ever seen Galactus how he destroys the world?
I
You
haven't.
know from Marvel.
I haven't seen that.
Oh well I'm gonna make my own example. Nothing could truly prepare you for escaping the illusion except ready to enter your true self beyond all illusions, to transcend into your true form beyond all illusions and lose who you thought you were. And then once you're ready to do that, and you go for it, you really actually fight through all illusions, and you destroy all illusions, you become unstoppable.
Yeah, I look in the mirror and I see an illusion. It's not really me.
Exactly. You're not. It's not really you. And something stood out to me because I feel like you're supposed to you're supposed to what's it called You're supposed to destroy the illusion here and now because I always talk to people, even if I talk to somebody about something deep, they always say, if you destroy the matrix, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So we're just stuck here and there's nothing we can do about it. And that's an illusion in itself because you got to know that you want freedom. You actually got to stand on it because, you know, they could try to paint you as like crazy, but here's the thing. If you know what's actually going on, you stand on what you believe in. You know what's actually going on. You stand on what you believe in, be yourself, and like I feel like yes, that in a way that's actually affecting the illusion more and more because you're not really getting hit with their program technology of believing you are the illusion. They want you to believe you are the illusion and look for a little, even if you're quote unquote woke and you have deeper understanding, they want you to look for an escape instead of finding out the powers within you. You can escape it. You have the power by even by being authentic on who you truly are.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody who, you know, they just woke up, they're like, fuck, this was an illusion. What am I supposed to do now?
Oh, like when that happened to me, when I first came across information like this, oh, I would tell them, hmm, I would tell them to question everything, even question themselves, question God, question everything, and don't stop questioning it until the answers finally come to you and you can start acting on those answers and keep doing that till you find what is the truest answer that resonates with you and build on top of that. Like just break free of all concepts and all false concepts of reality and question everything.
All right, you got that? Now go tell people that.
Who, me?
No, I'm talking about just people who are listening.
Oh yeah, yeah. Question everything. Even if it comes down to questioning yourself and questioning who you are, even an existential crisis. Even if it comes down to an existential crisis, you have to question everything. So the
Oh,
answers to
that's
it.
necessary. You have to have an existential crisis.
Yeah, you have to question everything, even yourself, even God, even your family, every single thing, until you start getting some answers on what is really going on.
You got to burn away all the programming,
Yeah,
all of it,
yeah,
even who you think that you are,
yeah,
because you're not that person.
exactly.
You're much greater than that person. You're beyond anything that you can imagine in this limited perceptual prison.
Yeah, and I think more the illusion. The illusion is the illusion is the thing that they make you think you have no power, but you really do. They make it seem like you are just a physical vessel experiencing it when you really have the power to break free.
So what is power in your opinion? What is this power that you're speaking of?
Okay, power. I would call power. Huh. I that's a good question. It's a tricky question because power is who you are, is what you're capable of, what you can do, what you can do that can really break free of that is really outside of the programs of limitation, broke programs of left forward back right limitation in reality. That's if you I if that's what I think power is. It's like what you can do that goes outside of just regular programs. Power
Interesting.
is what you're capable of beyond regular programs, and they make it seem like you don't have the power, but that's an illusion because here's the thing that I've always pondered upon. if it wasn't possible to escape or destroy this illusion, why would it come to my mind in the first place? It must mean I'm capable of doing it in a direct sense, because if you could think about something, that must means it's in the confines of your being or in the confines of this existence. And if you could think about something, then it surely can manifest itself, or it has some sort of substance to something.
Think it, know it, achieve it.
Because here's the thing. See, some people can't even imagine what this world really is and what's really beyond this world, because it's the limitation of your mind. But if you could think, if it could cross your mind that you somehow can destroy an illusion or break free of an illusion, it must be possible. And that's why I think that's what they don't want you to know.
Break those damn chains.
Yep.
Are you heading somewhere? Are you going on the train to go somewhere?
Well, I was going to, but not right now. And trust me, I'm not in a perfect situation myself either.
What's going on?
With me,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna tell you. Going through rough times. Got kicked out by my parents. Got I'm mostly just homeless right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's my current situation.
What's your plan?
My plan to not be homeless, or my plan for reality itself, for what I want to do.
Well, for the now, like what's your plan? Like, yeah, since you're homeless, what do you plan on doing?
Hmm. Uh, I don't know. I just like I don't really think of like doing. I try to do stuff about it, but I'm mostly focusing more on the truth and what's really going on, so I can know what I really want for
Yeah.
myself, than rather than somebody else try to influence me on what I could get.
Yeah,
Like,
isn't it just despicable that we need shelter in the first place?
yeah,
That they put us in these weekly vessels that we need all of these outside things in order just to get by. And when they're
yeah,
taken away from us, we suffer immensely.
yeah. I find that pretty interesting, and that's why I'm only focused on breaking free of everything that binds me into an illusion, everything that binds me. Period. To
Hell
be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So just know that when I'm out of this place, I'm going to be with you in destroying it all. And I'm sure a lot of other people are also going to be with you taking this thing down,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, and that's what should be done.
because no one deserves to exist in this state.
Yeah, no one, of course, because you got to know what reality is to know that it shouldn't even be this way in the first place. Because just the way you can suffer immensely in this world is just the way that they could pretend like they could just run or do a great reset on this world and then make the suffer happen over and over again. I feel like it needs to be the shut down, destroyed, and completely wiped out. So the truest forms radiate more than any illusion can.
Right, yes. An illusion means them keeping the truth from you.
Yeah.
And that's how they control us.
You know what somebody told me?
What's that?
You lose two times if you don't try. Someone told me you could lose, but you lose two times if you don't try. If you don't try to go for what you really want for yourself, then you lose two times than actually doing nothing.
Well, I have a personal experience because, this is my first live. And if I didn't try to do it, even though I was nervous and didn't know how it was going to go, I wouldn't have met you. So
Yeah.
you should just try to do your best in what you know is right. And
Of course.
everyone's capable of doing things they don't think they can.
I've seen I always focused on the truth ever since I've seen the world for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like even in video games, I search for truth. Sometimes sometimes I even like disregard illusions at certain times, or just so I could focus on what's really true. Like if let's say if I was reading a comic book or playing a video game. Let's say I was doing that. I'm sure that could be a distraction or it's fake, but I would make sure that I do something I'm actually interested in that has like hidden meanings of reality and truth to it. That's what I usually do personally. Like um comic books with deeper meanings, like read comic books with deeper meanings of dimensions and stuff like that and outside of reality and stuff like that.
Yeah. What guy you? This is a comment. Sorry. What guy are you talking about? On the live stream earlier, it was Infinite Corridors. Is that who you're talking about?
Who, me?
This Aaron A.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not you.
Oh.
I was just responding to a comment.
You want me to give you a reference to a comic book that stand out from regular old Matrix programs to me, like just to me personally.
Yeah.
Like even in you heard of Thor, right?
Yeah.
It was like one of them. There was like one comic book with called Room King Thor, where he was like where like he lost both of his eyes. He got betrayed by his family. He got betrayed by his brother and his father. And I feel and he destroyed both of his eyes and lost his sight. So he gained the power of the room. Hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So he lost both of his eyes, and then he lost both of his eyes for real knowledge and real sight beyond what this world could give you. And then he saw into the shadow realm or the realm beyond existence, where he saw Odin, his father, where he saw his father in the shadow realm, and they said everything they was basically giving him rundown on his life and everything he have ever experienced, and like how he was bound to this existence of death and rebirth called Ragnarok, the death and rebirth existence, how he's bound to it, how he was never gonna escape Ragnarok. But then when he saw into the shadow realm, he even went against his father and all the shadow creatures in the shadows. That said, everything he did was weak compared to what he just did, where transcend the limitations of existence. And then he even threatened to destroy them. They begged him for his life, and he even destroyed them. He became omnipresent and everything, seeing past reality and actually destroying the cycle of Ragnarok, which is death and rebirth, and actually overcoming the limitation of his character of who he was claimed to be. You know how Thor of Ragnarok is always bound to the destruction of his home.
Yeah.
So yeah, he broke that limitation by destroying his character and destroying everything held him back to his character.
That's a truth drop right there, huh?
Yeah, that was impressive to me.
Why do you think they put these truth drops out there?
Why do I think they what?
Why do you think they put this information out in like fantasy form?
Fantasy form? because everything is deeper than what it seems. They give you the truth, but they don't give you the full truth. You kind of have to like put it together your own way. You kind of have to see it through. You kind of have to you kind of have to put the puzzle pieces together yourself to make sure what reality really is. Like mainstream media or even fantasies are not going to give you the entire truth straight up. You got to see in between the lines to see how it adds up to the truth.
Yeah, you gotta have your own personal journey through it.
Yeah. So that was my own personal favorite comic. The story of Rune King Thor. From Marvel. It was like that story was pretty impressive because he even he broke his limits and even broke the limitation character that he was bound to. He destroyed his character that he was bound to, and he became omnipresent beyond his father Odin, who was who was at the time the ruler of the Shadow Realm.
So, how can we do that? Are you saying that we are capable of that as well?
Yeah, I do believe that. You believe you're able to break the character of who they say you are and overcome your limits of death and rebirth of illusion. Just like Thor was able to do that and destroy everything that held him back at the time. And you know, the Ragnarok is the story of life, death, and rebirth over and over again and without escape. And that's what I feel like we're capable of doing that also, of destroying that and destroying the false character of who they think we are and who we think we are and stepping into true form.
So here's a question: do you think you've been here before?
Well, within time, yeah, I could say I have many past lives. Past lives, many very past lives where I've grown restless of existing in this world. I've grown restless of existing in this world, and I just can't exist within illusions anymore because my spirit is restless of living within illusions of within time of death and rebirth. But if you're talking of yeah, this endless reincarnation soul trap. But if we're talking like beyond time, if we're talking beyond time, like when time doesn't exist, like beyond this illusion, past, present, and future never existed. Past, present, and future never existed. It was all an illusion. Time was all an illusion. It was all an illusion. It was all just a play on the mirror of consciousness, the play in the mirror of your true form, believing that you're this false self that binds you into this world. Past, present, and future never existed. But while you're in this illusion, within time of this illusion, they do this reincarnation soul trap, tricking you many lifetimes to the point where you grow tired of it and you have to fight back, or there's no other way, or you're going to keep going through this.
Yeah, I've thought about memories from like early on. They could have been implanted as well.
Yeah,
What do you think
of
about that?
course. Of course, past, present, and future never existed. The only thing real is the real being that's within us. The real one, the real being, the real thing, the real self that's within us. Not the false self that we think we are, the memories that we think we are. We think our family has always been our family. We think this life has always been our life. But little do we know, it's just an illusion to keep us trapped a little longer so they can do it all over again and over and over and over again to the point where you have to fight back.
Yeah, fuck these creatures. Fuck these entities that want to do this to us.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
I wish you the best in your future endeavors on you know.
Yeah, breaking free and transcending the illusion, transcending existence, and even destroying the illusion itself. Thanks. Oh, I'm going for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was nice speaking to you.
Yeah, you too. Feel free to hop on anytime I'm live, you know.
Yeah. All right. I couldn't read the comments because I was on this. I was on the Skype, so I couldn't read the comments.
Could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you.
I said I couldn't read the comments because I was on Skype.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the Skype.
Well,
So, but yeah,
a lot of good comments. So
anytime I see you on, I'm gonna either comment or maybe sometimes I'll hop on.
okay, great. It's been great talking with you.
All right, thanks. All right, bye.
Well, that was an interesting chat. I'm gonna have to go here soon. I've been live for 2.5 hours. Wow, I didn't think I could last this long. Anybody else want to come on, or any final words from anybody? I'm getting tired over here. It's getting late. Hopefully we got some good information and you could put into your little puzzle. Well, I guess I'm going to end it if no one else wants to get on. I'm going to give it 30 seconds. Anybody want to get on? Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of people don't like what I say, I'm sure, but to those who want the truth, I think it's necessary to explore these dark topics and turn away from this life, if you ask me. What was your granddad's experience like, Paul? Yeah, thanks for listening. Oh, your experience. Okay. I don't want to not exist. I want to exist forever. I like existing, just not in this state, not in this realm. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, the thing about my grandfather, he was a very spiritual man. And he always talked about spiritual things and psychic awareness and all these things. And he was really in tune with the spiritual world, but he didn't know it was full of deception. He didn't know that the light was the false light, and they deceived him because he didn't have the awareness because of his religious indoctrination and life indoctrination and programming. So he was easy prey to these entities. All they had to do was show him pretty colors and pretty lights and take him out of this reality into a more vibrant place, and he's hooked. He'll believe anything they say because he was indoctrinated to believe in these higher authorities and these things. But we now have come to the awareness that these things are actually demons or false light beings who don't want our best interests, who want us to remain slaves and captives and under their authority. So he didn't have the conscious awareness to question what they were presenting to him. And it's sad because he had all of this great psychic awareness and he was on the right track, but these entities didn't even tell him about the basic bullshit of this reality. He, like I said, he still watched CNN. He still watched the mainstream media. He was hooked on the drama play that these fake actors and these fake scenarios, and he believed it all. And so how could he actually been in contact with anything good if they couldn't even give him the decency to tell him, hey, turn off the fucking TV, don't listen to him, don't take the the thing in 2020. Take off the mask. It's just ridiculous. What's up, Tonice? You can come on if you want. These entities don't give us any real world solutions or real world knowledge about the most basic shit here. So tell me, how could they be considered good? Because they look all bright and fancy and they can do these little magic tricks that we don't know how to do, but we have those abilities. They've just been taken away from us. Well, any last thoughts, anybody? I hope will this automatically save to my YouTube channel? I don't know how this works. It's all good, Paul. Well, Tanis, you're a little bit late, my friend. Been going for 2.5 hours. Yeah, that's our original language, is telepathic communication. And they confused all our languages, and they give us these curses, these curse words, basically, to further enslave us. Thanks, Kat. Do I think I could be completely wrong? Wrong about what? Mr. Joe Biden? What's wrong? Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, give me some hard questions to answer. What do you think I could be completely wrong about? Well, there's 31 people watching right now. Anybody want to hop on or leave a interesting comment that I can read? Thank you, Inspiring Formulas. Yeah, I'm just trying to come up with solutions, and we're all in this together, so to say, and we all hold vital pieces of information that need to be shared. Why are there animals? So that we could eat them, obviously. No, it's just more loose for the system. Animals eating animals. Tetsuya. Okay, I'll check it out. It's 11:17. See? Remember earlier? 117? Just looked at the time and it's 117. Yeah, this world is evil based off of life eating life. That's all you need to know. Killing and ingesting other life forms so that you can live? What kind of world is that? Why are the different kinds of animals? It's a good question. Well, maybe because it transfixes us and it makes us think that there's some higher order to all of this, and God is wonderful because he can create all these beautiful animals. But also, I was thinking that a lot of these animals could be genetically made by these entities, because you got like the cow itself. The cow was specifically designed for humans to eat it. Cows don't exist in nature the way that we see them. Dogs don't exist in nature. Like how the hell did we get all of these dogs? Like just breeding wolves until it became a chihuahua? Like that doesn't seem plausible. There's some kind of genetic manipulation going on here that we know nothing about. I've got a guess. Hey. Oh, never mind. Hey, Val. Yeah, dog breeding is sick. It's all sick. All of it. I have dogs, but I feel like they're slaves, and I hate it. All these animals don't really make sense if you think about it. I think there's some genetic manipulation program going on here, like little experiments. And we're one of them, obviously. We are a genetic experiment. I mean, look at us. We don't exist naturally in this world. We're always fighting just to barely get by. You take away the shelter, the clothes, you're just a naked ass man or woman in the woods. That's a miserable existence. You would not survive out there. So what the hell happened? You would freeze to death, burn to death, starve to death, get all kinds of different parasites and diseases from the water, mosquitoes, ticks, fleas. I mean, all of it. I mean, the natural animals are like deer and squirrel. Those things, they're fine existing in nature. They can survive the cold, the winter. We can't even survive a sunny day. We need all of this outside things just to be able to get by. Yeah, dogs are really sensitive to a lot of things. Yeah, we're a large genetic experiment from these so-called gods. Some people, call them the Anunnaki. I don't know what's true. I'm just saying these things kind of make sense if you think about it. In the Bible, it talked about, God creating us and then creating all these animals. But that God was probably just higher beings. And then we named all the animals, so to say. Yeah, right. Who would create mosquitoes and ticks, really? Like, what kind of evil, pathetic demon would even could even come up with something like that? I've noticed there's been a lot more bugs recently, and I think the mosquitoes. I heard an interesting theory that these chemtrails and these planes that fly over, they're actually dropping new insects, new types of insects, like GMO insects, into our environment. What's the Nazi scientist disease? Yeah, God let Satan create mosquitoes. Like he was like, oh no, yeah, I gotta let Satan have free will. I gotta let him create these little bloodsuckers so that they'll learn that they need me. In the Bible, it says like when Adam and Eve took from the tree, that's when the curse of existence of this world happened. Before that, it was a paradise. But because we wanted knowledge of good and evil, like this could be a metaphor, sure, but mainstream Christianity believes that because those two people dare defy God, even though they were innocent, didn't know, that now we all have to suffer with these damn mosquitoes because of them. God had to curse the land because of two innocent people who didn't know anything. They split off evolutionarily from wolves because of the payoff to cohabit with humans. That's what they say. I mean, possibly, but how the hell did we get all these breeds of dogs? Who is creating these little dogs? Like, can we trace this back to a source? Like, oh, this was the first Chihuahua ever made. I don't think we can. They're here. Yeah, there's no safe place to move. I'm sorry, Val. It's infested. Everything's infested. 3,000 species of mosquitoes? What the fuck? Why? Just one is enough. Yeah. Well, it's just me. I'm just here all alone. Yeah, I believe that ticks do carry bioweapons and mosquitoes too. It's sickening. Oh, someone's here. Trying to get you in. Hold on. How do I get you in here? Oh, you stopped. Are you coming in, Tonise? Tonise, it says you want to join, but I can't get you to join. I guess he's gone. Just chilling with Josh. Yeah, we're just chilling in hell. We're all just chilling in hell. Original sin. I think us incarnating in these bodies was the original sin. In a way, original sin makes sense, but it's not the way they explain it. Like the sin is existing here. That is the sin. Everything here is a sin. It's an abomination. But the deception they pull is they want you to be responsible for it. You are the problem. When it was the creation that's the problem, not you. Yeah, hop on. Let's hear. I'm tired, but hey, it's worth it. Let's go. What is a Mandelbrot Zoom? I don't know what that is. Are you saying Mandelbrot Zoom is trauma of the gifted child? What do you mean by that? Okay, I'll look it up sometime. If my brain will let me remember, because this limited, there's only so much space in this little brain. I can remember things. Not my fault. If you wanted to hop on and talk about sin, you can. So Val, how's everything going with you? Sorry I haven't responded to your emails. It's got a lot going on, but I do appreciate what you have to say. And he's back.
Hey,
He's back to tell us all about sin. Let's go.
oh, man, this will be fun. They had older god and people would consider a goddess as well, and the name was Sin, the moon or Luna. So people actually tie this to the Judaic systems. You talk about the lunar gate, that would be Yesod. And get this, they call Yesod Gamaliel in the Clipoth, and it's right above realm that in the Clipoth is also known as Nama or Lilith. So realm is literally Lilith. Like the dark mother that consumes the force of light.
Sounds.
And Gamaliel, doesn't that sound a lot like game? Like this is the game?
Yeah.
Just so funny. It's right in plain sight.
It's fucked up.
I'm gonna put my.
So what do you think about
There we go.
the Bible story? Is it a metaphor or is there truth in it?
It's probably half and half. I mean, it's got to be half and half.
Some of it does make sense, but they warp it.
Oh yeah, like you read the original, it said Elohim, which was a plural for the gods of the sky. So so-called gods, these alien life forms in the sky that seem to have potentially become us, or at some energetic level become us. Man being created in the image of the gods, verbatim what it said. I have a companion Bible on my computer. Actually, probably pull it up in a second. And oh man, I could easily even show what it says.
Yeah, a lot of the Christians don't know that God is actually plural, so it's not one God.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You actually read the original. If they had the original translation, they didn't have that darn Council of Nicaea. Constantine, looking at you.
The thing that fascinates me is the Tower of Babel, where the Elohim came down to disrupt our advancement.
Right?
Like what the hell?
It's like, oh, they're getting somewhere. Screw off.
let's confuse their languages and like make them stop, because if they achieve this, they can achieve anything.
Right. You know, I could actually. I talked about this earlier, but since I know the verse exactly, almost word for word, I'll say the verse where they say where Jesus is Lucifer, because that ticks people off if you want.
Oh yeah, the morning star, is that the one?
Yeah, Revelation 22:16. There's actually another one where he alludes to it, and there's many others that point to him as a solar or a Polaris aspect as well. There's a lot of astrotheology from Zoroastrianism. But in 22:16, he says, I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright morning star, although the whole thing is mine angel has, I've sent my angel to testify to you in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star, which is pretty much Hillel or Lucifer or Dawn Star. Also, that's Venus. So there's the part of Venus with the Saturn to Venus in the Sin, which is the lunar gate. I'm pulling this thing up.
What do you say about, the KJV only people who say that, all the other translations are perverted, and in their version, it doesn't say that?
I'd say that they're onto something because it's a good, proper Old English translation, but I would say that they should read the original verbatim translations on top of reading the King James Version. If they don't read the original translations, it's like then their first point has no point. They're saying read the better translation of English, and then you have to add on, okay, now translate it from the original language. They don't want to do that, it seems, because that's when they see multiple gods mentioned.
They'll say that English is the most widely spoken language, so that's the version that God ordained for our generation. That's what they say.
Oh, I already have an argument for them.
What is
it? Then your God must be Satan, because Satan. Well, it actually is too, but there's another point of this where Saturn is, that's the god Jehovah Tetragrammaton. However, Latin was considered a satanic language, and often Christians will say that Latin is of the devil. It's kind of funny, but then if you look at where English has its roots, a lot of it is we're practically speaking a newer version of a mixture of Greek, German, Latin, all kinds of good stuff, but primarily Latin alphabet.
Yeah, the English language is a cursed language. I mean, it's so obvious if you look into all the words and the double meanings and triple meanings. And
oh yeah, that's why I try to say hi, and only when I'm making a jest at something I will say hello, like hill. Oh
yeah, it's so
is
ingrained in my vocabulary that I say words that I don't mean in that way. It's just ingrained in your vocabulary.
Did you know that nice comes from the Latin nescius, which means fine and stupid?
Really?
So when you say that someone's car, oh, you have a nice car, well, that you literally just said you have a stupid car.
Yeah.
And we wonder why our vehicles have faults all the time.
Yeah. Another one is adult. Like, we're adults.
Adult, yes, adult.
Which means we're adults.
Oh man, I only heard that one recently.
It's like, I need
gosh,
to be an idiot.
And great, like grating something.
Yeah.
Grinding it into bits.
Oh, yeah, and of course the classic, days of the week.
Right on.
And the weekend, like on the weekend, we're weekend, so we got to recharge on our off days so that we can go back to work.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. I guess, okay, I had this in a dark mode. I want to keep it on dark mode so I don't blind people. I just have to figure out where it was. Sit with creation. Yeah, it's Hebrew Elohim. I'll show where it mentions that at least. Yeah, first I gotta, there we go. And share screen. Trying to do this so I don't like. There it is. So it says in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And of course, if you go into God, Hebrew Elohim is, trying to move the cursor over it right there under the one, if you see it, that footnote.
Yeah.
That's a very telling. And it goes into dualism and all of that. People just take it too literally. Yeah. There we go. there's actually an astral interface people talk about, apparently, with the moon having actual links, like codes of chain, and they call them chains. Funny enough, the chain code to the matrix, to the earth. And so it's imbued into the whole thing. We're gonna go ahead and I think it was actually a 216 or something as well that there was. I don't know if that was it or not. I have to see. I have to look for it. There was another. There's a distinct difference between Jesus and Lucifer, admittedly, but the deal is it's like Jesus is always hearkened to as a light bearer or Lucifer. Lucifer, that just means light bearer. It doesn't actually denote the angel directly. Most people get their idea from. They can argue that they're tapping into something that is within the self, so to speak, or within the universe, however that works. A lot of people's idea of Lucifer and connecting him directly with Satan, they often get that from Dante's Inferno, and it's carried over into the church and their pulpit programming.
Yeah, there's a Bible verse. I'm sure you know it. It's, God says, I am the one and only God. I create both light and dark.
Right.
So he's basically telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think wrote the Bible? I mean, obviously,
Dude, I've heard theories on
inspired by
Shakespeare.
God, but I mean,
I don't believe it, but I've heard of Shakespeare. I'd say, looking at historically, multiple scribes, and there's so many books, you'd have to be specific what scribe. And then we get into the dynamic of it. They're clearly hearing from something. So what is talking to these people? I'm not going to call it God. Something's clearly communicating with these people, and it has a hierarchy. And it comes in the name of El Elyon, or God the Highest High. And it has all these other names. And one of the names, again, Satan comes into this because he walks in the court of heaven in the story of Job. You ever read that story?
oh yeah, it's a fucked up story.
Dude, hey, don't kill that guy. The Christian's like, Satan's bad. The voice of reason. Okay, here it is. I found it. It's from Revelation. I believe this is when Jesus is talking. It's in Revelation 20. I mean, it's chapter 2, 27 to 28. And he shall shepherd them with the scepter of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. So it's always about, in Magecraft, you'd use a scepter to command energies. And this is the court system of the scepter, and I command you. And it's all about being subordinate, being commanded, in this case, being broken. Very loving. And then it goes on, as I also have received of my Father, and I will give him the morning star.
Yikes.
Which, it's not a bad thing. It's just literally another point of him saying, I will give him the light-bearing star, where Lucifer is being denoted as an angel of God that is meant to shine a light on the darkness. Now, in Gnosticism, that might be a pretty good thing, because they're looking at Lucifer as this figure that Jesus is handing to people. Figuratively or not, Jesus is saying, I will give you Lucifer so that you can light the darkness up and realize where the evil is. And if they were smart about it, they would realize where the evil is. The God that created the simulation in the beginning of the Bible is where the evil is.
There you go. What started it all.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it kind of fucked up that they gaslight us into thinking that that's the all-powerful, all-loving being who literally created this hellhole. But then he doesn't take credit for it because, oh no, Satan Lucifer, whatever you want to call it, he's the reason
Abraxas,
for
yep.
it all. He's the reason, not me. I'm just sitting by, just waiting.
Oh yeah. I'm reading some of these comments. They're quite interesting.
Yeah, I got a lot of interesting people. That's why I wanted to do a live stream and let people get on and talk, because I can't respond to every comment. I mean, I want to, but I just don't have the energy. But also,
Oh
there's
yeah.
information that I think everyone would benefit from.
Mhm.
Like you. I mean, you have some great information.
Oh, and again, actually, before I say this, someone mentioned Cosmic and the boys mentioned Jorda. I don't know how to pronounce it, Jordoff. And I don't know of this person, but Food for the Moon definitely lines up with the psychical energy harvesting. And the moon is often seen as another part of the overlay of Earth. The moon, again, everything's a reflection in this realm. So it's just an overhead reflection of this system's operation. Saturn is, in many cases, the Freemasonic symbolism as well. It points it as being in the center or below the Earth, whatever cosmology you're going by, projecting its system upon the realm. Now, Yahe Yahe. Oh, go ahead.
So you think the moon is a reflection of what's down here? I've heard that those
The
theories.
emotions, but the emotions govern what's down here,
Okay.
right?
Have you heard of the theory that the moon is like a map of the Earth?
Dude, I have. I've watched Vibes of Cosmos
Okay, yeah,
videos.
So what do you think about the extra land? Is there extra land?
Dude, the elder guy I was talking about, this guy had an obsession with looking at the Middle Earth map. And some time ago, Vibes of Cosmos released a video talking about the location of this particular map on the moon, and it was a 1-to-1.
Yeah, I saw that. It matches perfectly.
Yeah, this elder guy talked about the mountain. I think he was referring to Meru, that particular mountain. It took me a while of research. I was like, oh, that's the mountain. At one point in my childhood, I saw these rings around the Earth, and I've had it in a vision that it looks like a rapidly rotating set of rings watching the Earth with camera-like eyes. And I know what people are going to say. It did look like a biblically accurate angel. It flashed in front of my eyes when I was going to bed, like it was this thing showing me outside this construct what it looks like. For some reason, decided I should see it.
Wow.
So, let's see. In ritual magic, the god of the Bible, who's actually the energetic construct Saturn, again, is often called upon. Depending on the directions, people can utilize the name. I haven't implemented it properly yet because I was so at odds with Christianity that even seeing that as a reflection of myself, I thought of it as dirty because I didn't want to align with any idea of that thing for the longest time. But I realize now if I run from that, then that's just another point of power it has over me. So in ritual magic, people call upon the name itself through the lettering. It's the tetragrammaton. It's Yahweh, and it has to be a very guttural pronunciation. It implies the elements of, I'm not sure the order since I'm still getting into implementing it. It's the fire, earth, the air, and the water. I have to pull up a picture of this thing. I don't know why the programming of, I mean, I guess I do because they have to contain their power. But you know how a lot of Christians, for some reason, say that the Pythagorean pentagram, whatever direction it points, is bad. I don't know where they got that idea, but they say that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. I think it came from Hollywood. Made that idea.
I think also it's because I think Baphomet, it lines up with it, the pentagram.
Right, but you know that Christians, not all Christians, some Christians are Jesus worshippers. Many Christians, the Christians of the church, worship Jehovah, right?
Yeah.
Who is Tetragrammaton. And here's the irony. I'm going to show it on screen. What the what it looks like. It's all the points of power, and the upward point is spirit.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
there's the phallic symbol is actually the Kundalini.
So they do not know what they worship, obviously.
Exactly. I've always found it so ironic. And many of them, now that I'm thinking of it, they've talked about how the scimitar, which is really what the scimitar is, it relates to piracy in the laws of the sea that have come to the land and now are worn upon as badges instead of swords with the, just order following dynamic. And I'm not completely against any police necessarily as people. That's where they're at in life. But the dynamic of the system, I just have to look into it all. And that's a symbol that many Christians will say is used to go against their religion, or maybe at one point there was an empire using that symbol against them, I guess. I'm not really a historian, but many of them said that. And I think it's funny that the scimitar is right on the bottom of the Tetragrammaton magical symbol.
The deception runs deep.
But those names are powerful. That's why they've glorified them into so many gods and goddesses are actually these systems of power personified. And that's what they really have been hiding.
Hey, before I go, I just want to know, how did you get to all this knowledge and information? What?
That was a long story. If you want starting points, I would say look into Kabbalah and Klippoth. Look at it from a psychological perspective.
Okay. What got you interested in all of this stuff?
When I was going to that college at the time, it was actually for information technology. The elder there that I was talking to, when he mentioned the occult in general, that's when I started to research it. So yeah, I'd say that's what got me interested. Was I saw that this stuff was deep psychology that was very ancient. So yeah, that's when I really delved into it.
Wow. You got a lot of knowledge, I'll say that.
Thank you.
Useful. Yeah, I'm glad that you're sharing it with us.
Oh yes.
Well, I got to go here soon. Any last words or any last thing you want to share with us?
Worship yourself.
Amen.
All right. I'm going to head off too.
All right. Thanks for
having me.
Yeah, anytime. It's been a pleasure. All right, guys. It's been about over 3 hours. I'm way past my bedtime, so thanks for listening, joining in, and hopefully you got some useful information. And hey, Mushroom Coyote, the Urantia. I never knew how to say your name. The Urantia. What does that mean? I'm curious. Paul, Cosmic and the Boys, Inspiring Formulas, Val, Jillery, and Truth Is, of course, him. Everybody else. Vivacious Vivian. Thanks for joining. Time for bed. Time to get messed with in my sleep. But I'm going to try to protect myself, and I'm going to become lucid tonight and fuck them up. or try at least. Wish the same to you. All right. Good night. Oh, it's the name for the Earth. Oh, okay, gotcha.